from the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a beautiful Friday. Temperatures into the lower 80s, mostly sunny skies. Dew points into the 50s, so not much humidity. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 85 degrees. Into Sunday, we've issued a first alert weather day, as we're going to be seeing the potential for some showers and storms, some of which could become strong to severe. We'll be tracking 2 rounds, one during the morning round and during the secondary round. We're going to be looking towards the afternoon, evening hours. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
There's a lot to talk about today, St. Louis. Let's get the conversation started. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewsTalkSTL.
Happy Flashback Fridays. Has this been a good short week for you, or did it just drag on forever, it seems like? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a long week for me. But anyway, here we are. Looking forward to hearing what your 80s bump music requests are. Earlier this week, interesting conversation. Tim Whitney. Now, if you live in Jefferson County, you've probably seen that name. He's your undersheriff, but he's also running for county executive right now, and that's going to be a competitive primary race, it looks like. Republicans obviously have the upper hand there. And Tim was on the show earlier this week kind of laying out his vision for Jefferson County, which is a crucial part of the metro area and one of the fastest growing. And here's what he had to say.
St. Charles County's had a population growth for years now. They're trying to figure out, I think, how to throttle it almost. And then Jefferson County is just kind of a go-to place. I mean, people leave in St. Louis County, people leave in the city. And come November, voters are going to decide who's going to lead Jefferson County in that area into the next phase of whatever the growth is going to be and whatever Jefferson County is going to look like. And Tim Whitney wants to be that person. So he is running for county executive, and he joins us right now. And Tim, good to chat with you. Appreciate you being on the program here. Let me start with that basic premise. Jefferson County, a lot of demand for people wanting to move to Jefferson County. We're talking businesses, we're talking, families, we're talking retirees. There's just a demand to get out of some other areas and get into areas like yours and like Lincoln County and like St. Charles County. So when you look at whatever the next phase is, whether it's planning or whether it's just planning for the economy, whatever it is, what is it that Jefferson County needs to be prioritizing to either deal with the growth or manage the growth? What's the big picture for you?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about Jefferson County being primed for additional growth. And I think the next decade in our county is really going to be shaped up by what we do in the next few years. Simply put, people do want to move to our community. It's a great place. I'm very bullish on its future. I love the community, which is why I'm running for office. But I think the single biggest issue we have right now is navigating that growth versus no growth. And I think what the people really want is our community to grow. They want to see our economy grow. They want to see opportunities to live and work here grow. But at the same time, they want us to preserve that natural beauty of Jefferson County. They want us to preserve that rural character, and they don't want us to grow in such a way that, we outkick our coverage or we outgrow our infrastructure and have those additional growing pains. So it's going to be an incredibly tough thing to do for the next few years to get it right. But to your point, last night I was out meeting with some different people, putting out campaign signs as we do this time of year. And I met a farmer out in Hillsborough who's owned his farm for 200 years who, really wanted to make sure that we preserve the agricultural community in our county. And a little bit later, I was on the east side of the county in the Interstate 55 corridor, and I met a business owner who is really bullish on the need to grow our business community here. So navigating that's going to be tough, but I think we're going to be in a great position, and with the right leadership, we'll be in good shape to do it.
Good morning, Tim. This is Susie Moore. Along those lines, I think one of the big questions is kind of a chicken egg question. How do you prepare for the growth, from an infrastructure standpoint, from a business investment standpoint, but not get out in front of it? What do you find are the best resources in terms of assessing, which direction we need to grow and how we need to strike that balance?
The county did a really good job the last few years, and they redid the master plan. And that master plan kind of gives, a rough blueprint for how the county should grow. And the community had some input in that, and there were some committees put together on it. So we have that rough blueprint that's there already. But I think if I had one observation on some things our county could do right in terms of this is we tend to be reactive to how we do things, right? The development comes, and then we recognize that we need to reinvest in that infrastructure. Most of the time, county roadways are the most visible parts of that. and then you're trying to redevelop those, which creates significant growing pain. So I think we need to look at that master plan, do a better job of being proactive and understanding where these things are going to happen, and maybe start investing on the front end, because, again, the growing pains on the back end are tremendous sometimes. So it's kind of a pay now or pay later proposition, and I always think it's better to pay now.
And so you're talking specifically, just so I'm clear, Tim, you're talking about the infrastructure, the roads, saying, okay, there's likely going to be a development here. We better get some pipes. We better get some lines or something. You're talking about that kind of pay now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, we have, our fire and EMS services, our local districts, so they're not controlled by county government, but having those conversations with those districts as well, so that our public safety infrastructure is in place and they understand the places where we're most likely to see growth or where there is conversations of future growth. So it's bigger than just roadways. It really does go into your water districts, working with your partners in public safety and all those things, because again, being reactive sometimes creates larger pains than we were proactive.
You kind of anticipated my next question, and that is the public safety aspect of this. Law enforcement obviously is a integral part of any community's growth and how to make sure that you have a community that everyone wants to be part of. How do you find how do you all partner with law enforcement, or how do you envision partnering with law enforcement to help that on the public safety front? Because when you have an influx of population, sometimes you bring an influx of crime.
Yeah, and Tim might have some thoughts on.
Yeah, I know. I figured he might.
Might have some thoughts on law enforcement in particular.
Yeah, and so to that point, I've been with the sheriff's office for 24 years. My current role is I'm the undersheriff and chief financial officer. So law enforcement is near and dear to my heart, and I believe that the community is the basic foundation of a community. Really is public safety, and it is understanding what those needs are going to be. With an increased population comes an increased need for services, and making sure that the sheriff's office, which is the primary law enforcement agency in our county, and I say that from the perspective that we serve roughly 93% of the land area and a little over 70% of the population right now, in understanding that the municipal partners, whether it's the city of Arnold, city of Festus, city of Burns Mill, they're going to have their own growth within, their police departments. But, certainly we have to have an understanding and have preparation for, as the population increases, so too will our demand for those services. So how do we continue to make sure that's funded? How do we continue to make sure that we have the resources in place to make them successful?
Okay, I've got another quick follow-up question on the development part of this. Are there types of industries and businesses that you think Jefferson County should target, or just look for whatever the market brings? And then conversely, are there types of growth that you would not want to see in Jefferson County?
Yeah, I think you have to have an open mind. I think you do yourself a disservice if you get into the absolutes or always or never to certain industries. But if you look at the population in Jefferson County today, about 25% of our population is under 21. And for our community to really be successful in the future, we want to capture that population to where they want to stay here. And a big part of that is having the jobs that they want. And so I think we have to be forward thinking. I don't know that there's a specific industry we can say we're going to target and it's going to allow us to meet that goal, because as we've seen in the last few years, I mean, it's moved considerably. I mean, this time last year, we were hardly talking about data centers in our community, and now you see it's been brought to the forefront of those conversations. So something else could be here in another few years. So I don't want to say that we need a specific industry or we don't need a specific industry. We have to be open to it all, but we have to be really mindful of what is it going to take to keep that young population here in our community.
You were reading my mind this morning, Tim, because that was where my next question was going to go, was the data centers.
Funny you should mention
that, because that is obviously a hot button issue. There's a lot of passion and energy around that whole discussion. And, obviously local leaders are having to kind of navigate their way through a very difficult, heated discussion over it. What do you envision as the way to strike the balance there, where you're, wanting to encourage the technological advances, the investment in the community, but assuage people's concerns about potential safety, pollution, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think without a doubt, it is an emotionally charged issue. Whether you're for or against them, it tends to be very emotion-based. Some of the numbers I've seen down here, it's about 50% one way or the other on the issue. And then when I'm out meeting people, it's about 50% one way or on the other issue. So we really need to strike that balance. I don't think that we should take a position of always yes to data centers and always no to data centers. I think the reality, as always, is somewhere in between that, right? I think there are times when, data centers are similar industry could be a fit for a part of the community. And I think there's times it absolutely will not be a fit for the community. So we have to be open-minded to it. But I think the first step to all of it is making sure we're communicating, right? It all comes down to communication. When people feel there are surprises or they feel that, they were led a different direction, that creates mistrust. So I don't believe that the answer to it is in either of the, absolutes of yes or always no. It's really finding that balance in between, which, as you can see, in an emotionally charged issue is tough to do sometimes.
We're visiting with Tim Whitney. He's running for county executive in Jefferson County. Tim, I've just got a minute or so left. So then how do you find that? Because, if you got a 50-50 split, that's the worst place that an elected official can be, knowing that you're running the risk of, ticking off half of your community, even if you think you're doing the right thing. So what would be the right parameters that you would want to communicate, or what would be the right parameters to say this is at least worth looking at without committing to whether you want to do it or not? But what are some of the parameters that would have to be in place? Because this is, like Susie said, this is what's there right now. This is where the debate is right now. What would you want to see from a proposed data center project, in anywhere in Jefferson County?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's leadership, right? You talked about the 50-50 split and that being the toughest thing, and, either way you're upsetting people. But I think that's leadership. I think good leaders recognize that and they work through it. But specific to your point about what it would take, the county's done a great job of putting together some ordinances that do protect our community, right? From an environmental standpoint, from a zoning standpoint, everything from standoffs, all those things that need to happen. So I think at the end of the day, what we need to do is follow the ordinances that we have in place that do protect the community, and at the same time really listen to the community, because if there is a location or there is an area where there is a proposal for one, we really need to evaluate, where that is. Is that in an industrial corridor or is that in a more residential corridor? The public is going to tend to be more acceptable and, ready to champion a project like that if it's in an industrial corridor. So that's got to be kind of the starter, but it all comes down to communication, how we communicate with the community.
All right, Tim Whitney, running for county executive in Jeffco. Appreciate the time. What's the website? What's the social media people want to check out?
Yeah, obviously I'm on Facebook. It's whitney4executive.com.
Little bit later on today. Okay, the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. We don't talk to them a whole lot here on the program, but they have decided to get into the fight over Amendment 4, the initiative petition reform amendment, and they are on board with, I wouldn't say conservatives, but just people who want good, better government, and Chamber is on board with this. So we're going to talk to them here in just a little bit as well, because they're actually looking at this from a little different angle, one that has to do with protecting our jobs in the state. Interesting take on that. That'll be in the 7 o'clock hour right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com.
Hi, Sandy. What's that?
I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot.
What's 4?
Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance. Lower your car payment today. Lower your car payment today. Yes, you heard us right. You can lower your car payment right now by making this free call and save up to $1,400 a year on your current car payments. Think about your current car payment right now. What's that costing you per year? Now think about what it would be like to put an extra $1,400 back in your pocket. That's the average savings our customers experience. We can help you drive the same car and pay less every month by lowering your car payment's interest rate to as low as 4.67%. At Rate Genius, we can work with you to refinance any car payment. If you qualify, it costs you nothing to find out how you can lower your car payment. To learn more, call this number right now.
800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. That's 800-493-5670. People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rate you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Those darn kids and their takeovers.
Get off my street.
Yeah, well, and out of my park and out of my parking lot and out of my that's basically what's that's interesting. St. Louis police, a couple interesting things with St. Louis police. One, they did a press conference and saying we've caught wind of at least 3 teen takeovers planned, including one in Forest Park.
Ooh.
Yeah, and there was something else interesting because the mayor had her own press conference on like public safety and some events going on, which we'll get to in just a second here. But the police essentially are using a lot. They've got intel. I mean, they're not just waiting for stuff to happen, which this is one of the ways the police has changed over the course of the last whatever decades is they're monitoring. They've got intel. They've got ears and little birdies out on the street too. And so they basically put the word out, hey, kids, we know this is happening. We're not going to let it happen. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this goes.
Yeah, just because you're doing something online does not mean that the police are not privy to your activities. And especially with how many people have been caught, I would imagine some of these groups that are responsible for organizing, hosting, posting this kind of content, I can imagine a few deals being made to get some information on these kids.
Yeah, I would think so. So we'll get into that just a little bit here. Okay, 6:35. We're going to dig into this. Man, it's Friday. I always like to have a lot of fun with stuff. We got something kind of heavy. There was a ruling in Jackson County Court in Kansas City that essentially says, well, that pro-abortion amendment that voters passed, it was radical. It was basically free for all. And the judge said, well, them's the rules. Now, it's a fairly left-wing judge, but almost every single regulation and safety standard that protects women right now, gone. So Planned Parenthood is already saying we're going to start giving out the chemical abortion pill like next week. Got to get our stock in. And so essentially we're talking the standard protections like for medical stuff that apply to every doctor will not apply to those who are doing abortions.
The amendment that got passed here was so radical that quite literally, if I assist you, I'm not a doctor. I got no experience. If I assist you and I harm you or kill you, by malpractice, I cannot be held legally accountable. I can be held maybe civilly accountable, but I cannot be held
no.
accountable.
You're protected from that too.
From both.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you could literally go into your closet, grab the rustiest coat hanger you've got, and say, you know what, I saw YouTube, and hurt or kill somebody. And as long as you're saying I was providing abortion care, you're good.
Or if I was perhaps abusing a student and I don't want their parents finding out and I want to bring them somewhere and have some done there, well, that just can't hold me accountable.
Okay, so 6:35, we'll get into the details, and this just underscores why we cannot back down on passing the good pro-life Amendment 3 in November. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. Okay, this teen takeover thing. Police have basically caught on. They've said there were 3 that were being planned. One, apparently a big one in Forest Park. And then there were some others that they were already kind of planning. I say they, meaning, the kids involved here. And so they're putting the warning out, but they immediately went back to what they did downtown and said, hey, parents, it's on you. Parent your children.
It's 9 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are at?
Yeah, really. And it's kind of fascinating for me to watch this because you get the idea that the police in the city are just essentially sick and tired of cleaning up the mess of the parents who won't parent. And so in downtown, they said, we're going to start citing parents. We're going to start holding them accountable. And we've had almost no problems from downtown since that announcement and since some parents got cited. I mean, have you noticed that there just haven't been as many problems at all, and there haven't been the large scale problems.
It's almost like when you hold minors accountable and you teach them that actions have consequences that are not going to be fun, they stop doing knuckleheaded stuff like this.
Right. And then there was another press conference that the mayor had regarding the upcoming Pride festivities next weekend in the Grove area, or the area that the Grove is in as well, not just the Grove. And essentially there's going to be a juvenile curfew. So between it's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and 5 in the morning, if you're under the age of 18, if you're 17 or under, you have to have adult supervision in the Grove during the Pride stuff. And then they're going to put some other barricades. The bars have agreed to close down at midnight on Saturday and Sunday during and I've not been myself, but the news coverage shows this is a huge thing. Well, last year during the Pride stuff, a big fight broke out about 1:30 in the morning, and a couple people got shot.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the mayor does a press conference saying, here's the curfew, here's what we're going to do. Now, what's interesting about that isn't so much the whole curfew and bars changing their hours, all sort of thing. Elliot Davis was reporting on this, and he says the police did not know about this. There is tension between the mayor's office and there's a tension between the city hall and the police department right now. Of course, the mayor is opposing the raises for police command staff, and she voted against it. But Elliot, if you go to Elliot Davis TV on his Facebook, he did the story. He did an interview, quick back and forth with Mitch McCoy, who's the spokesman for the police. And they said, we heard about the press conference announcing this when the media was notified. That's when we were notified. They didn't even know about it.
Okay, denying a pay raise is one thing, but withholding information that for public safety is just unbelievable.
Yeah, so they're kind of watching the new rules with everybody else. They didn't know. Yeah, interesting.
Chris Arps here, and after Becky and I leave church on Sunday, we head down the street to Capriotti's to grab a classic meatball sub. I love Capriotti's, and you will too. Visit Capriotti's now at 2 locations on Manchester, McKnight, and Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on NewsTalkSTL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Very active, very fun chat box. Cindifer.
Hi, Cindifer.
Hey, how you doing? She says, yo, Vic, baby. Verbatim, yo, Vic, baby. With an exclamation point. How else are you supposed to read that? I was driving, had to pull over to comment. I was going to say how sexy the beard is, but I'm afraid of your wife.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I would be.
Vic Porcelli, live and local, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
A Disney cruise is no ordinary vacation. It's an adventure, a fairy tale, a dream. Step aboard and discover where favorite Disney characters meet fun for the whole family, where total rest and relaxation meet the ultimate escape and excitement, where a dream vacation meets a magical cruise. Only on Disney Cruise Line, where magic meets the sea.
Magic Expeditions will make planning your Disney cruise easy. Reach out at magicexpeditions.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
My mother was very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign and she wasn't even really sure where she was at.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Not so fast on those U.S.-Iran talks. Originally scheduled to start today, they're being postponed as Israel's military continues hammering away at an Iranian ally in Lebanon.
Israel's military says its forces have struck targets throughout southern Lebanon overnight, as Hezbollah reported intense fighting in the area. Lebanon's state-run news agency reports at least 18 people killed in Israeli strikes. The fighting into Friday morning comes as planned talks in Switzerland between Iran and the US over their efforts to reach a permanent end to the Iran war have been delayed. Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon and its continued attacks on Hezbollah have been a key issue in the talks. Israel maintained it must continue to hold territory in Lebanon and have a free hand to battle Hezbollah. I'm Charles Dillard-Desmond.
War Secretary Hegseth is giving America's European allies a homework assignment of sorts, urging them to take more responsibility for their own security as the Pentagon reviews U.S. troop deployments in Europe.
Hegseth is criticizing NATO allies for not providing access to bases for U.S. forces to launch attacks on Iran. He also accuses Europe of prioritizing gender equity and climate change over defense. The review could impact NATO's collective security guarantee, but U.S. nuclear weapons will remain in Europe.
And that's correspondent Ken Lorman. Parts of the Gulf Coast are under flood warnings. Southern Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama all in the bullseye as the remnants of Tropical Storm Arthur drop flooding rains and generate fierce winds. Buildings have been damaged, trees, power lines are down. Georgia and the Florida Panhandle could be next in line. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-550-7800. That's 800-550-7800. Call now to find out how much your case could be worth.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states. Not available in California.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a beautiful Friday. Temperatures into the lower 80s, mostly sunny skies. Dew points into the 50s, so not much humidity. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 85 degrees. Into Sunday, we've issued a first alert weather day, as we're going to be seeing the potential for some showers and storms, some of which could become strong to severe. We'll be tracking 2 rounds, one during the morning round and during the secondary round. We're going to be looking towards the afternoon, evening hours. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com.
It's not pleasant to hear it, but Missouri is falling behind in its spending of state tax dollars, education, and health care. But there are ways to get Missouri moving forward again and produce a better life for all of us. That's why we at the Show Me Institute put together our 2026 Missouri Blueprint, a roadmap on how the state can move to a brighter future. The blueprint covers policy ideas from taxes to government transparency, from education to healthcare and budget reform. Let's allow students to attend the school of their choice. Let's adopt new proven methods to help the many school kids who can barely read. Let's limit state spending growth for Missouri's long-term financial stability. And let's invest in future needs with more nuclear energy. Why not common sense reforms to make things better for all Missourians? Check out our 2026 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
News, analysis, opinion.
Don't always agree, but in love listening to your radio station. This is tyrannical stuff they're doing.
Elections have consequences. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
I'm not like the rest of you. I don't make mistakes.
Susie Moore.
What you're telling me doesn't sound logical, my dear.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
You need to get to go. I need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. Get up! Get up! This is your
All right, you can keep your Second Amendment. That was slick, actually. I was trying to be all cool. We've got this promo book, and I'm like, oh, I've got this thing written, and I slide it down there, and it goes off, and man, one hand, she like swipes up, and she's got it right there. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the only way to do it, of course. All right. You can keep your Second Amendment rights, even if you toke now and again, apparently. Yep. What the Supreme Court was kind of saying. All right, so the Supreme Court hands down 3 decisions on Thursday. We got a lot of stuff going on here in St. Louis, so there's a lot of ground to cover. You know, some of it's a little heavy. Some of it is, those darn kids, and there's some other stuff. But I wanted to start with this because you should see Susie when the Supreme Court hand-down days are coming. She is locked in, and you could walk in and say anything. It's like, hey, Susie, did you know it's raining outside? Supreme Court hand-down day. Supreme Court hand-down now. She is locked in.
The fire in the break room.
Not right now. Not right now. No, there's a pack of wolves coming. No, hold on. I can wait till after the hand-down. So,
I got my priorities.
That's what I'm saying. She's not arguing. She's not disputing this at all.
Not dissenting.
No. Good one.
Well played. Nice. Okay, so basically it was, 3 hand-downs that came, but one of them is really of interest to. I kind of want to cover all of them, but the Supreme Court one regarding the Second Amendment case is interesting just in the case of what was decided, but possible ramifications beyond that, if you will. So really let's kind of go to the synopsis of it. Is there was a case involving somebody who I guess used marijuana, used drugs. And what was it that the Supreme Court decided?
Basically, what they decided is, there's a provision in the statute that says there's like a form you have to fill out, obviously, when you go to purchase a handgun or a gun. And in it, you have to aver or vow that you are not I'm trying to think of the wording. I'll have to pull up the wording, but it's like a user, you might know,
Yeah, you cannot be reliant, dependent, or habitual user or a user of marijuana, THC, including medical marijuana, and you also have to affirm in that same sentence that you are not dependent on controlled substances or illicit substances.
Yeah, but I don't even think it specifically names THC. I thought
it
it
says
just
marijuana.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, that's ATF form 4473. I filled out several of them.
Okay. I thought it was just like more like drugs in general, but in any event, it's what got Hunter Biden in trouble.
Right.
One of the things that got Hunter
Right.
Biden
Yeah.
in trouble, and one of the things that he was successfully prosecuted on and found guilty of was lying on this form, because while he was simultaneously counting these situations where he was wigged out on crack and all this stuff, he was in possession of this gun and that sort of thing. So that's how he got nailed. Of course, he was pardoned from that by his father, shortly before Joe Biden left office. But be that as it may, that was a big, obviously, it shined a light on that provision, and there were questions raised about, is this really appropriate? Well, other people have challenged it too, including this guy in the case that went up before the Supreme Court. And in this case, the guy, I think, was basically at least according to Justice Gorsuch's opinion.
That's a lot of consonants.
There's a lot of S's. Basically an every other day user of marijuana. And so they basically said the way that is worded is too broad, because it's not talking about somebody who's under the influence when they're actually filling out the form, and it's not even addressing whether somebody is an addicted user of something. It's just, you might be using this. Yep. And they said that's too broad, and they basically said, no, that statute needs to kind of be redone, which, had Hunter Biden not been pardoned by his father, the irony in all of it, would have been that he was prosecuted by his dad's Justice Department and then given reprieve by the conservative Supreme Court justice during the Trump administration.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I remember at the time, there were a few of us in conservative media going, wait a minute, does the Second Amendment mean what it says to everybody? I know we don't like Hunter Biden.
Right.
We don't like the Bidens. Well, wait a minute. Are we standing up for the rights, or are we just picking and choosing based on the person? Yeah. Now, all the other stuff, the guy's just a scumbag. But on that particular thing, we're like, hold on, remember, don't get so excited over nailing him on that just because you want to nail him on something. There's plenty to nail him on. That one's a whole different thing.
I mean, technically he was, I shouldn't say technically, he was in violation of that provision. That was not in dispute. The question was, is this a provision we really should be enforcing? Right. And keep in mind, this was, the prosecution started, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. The mood, the relationship between the federal government and marijuana has been shifting all during that time, as we've seen more and more states go to legalization. And even though it's technically not legal federally, there's been a step back on the approach to that. So that's all going on.
And with President Trump recently reclassifying it, that's a big step, honestly, in the right direction too.
Well, there are two points as well that have just never really made sense as somebody that is a legal firearm owner and user. And one is that marijuana, based on available studies right now, marijuana is very similar to alcohol, except alcohol causes more long-term damage to people. You can be a raging alcoholic. You don't have to say, I certify that I am not a belligerent alcoholic on these forms. You can be on prescription opioids. You can be getting these pill mill prescriptions for hard controlled substances, still go buy a firearm. It was marijuana specifically, and then a couple others that just certify I'm not abusing illicit hard drugs.
Yeah, it says, unlawful user or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance. I mean, that's
pretty broad.
It is pretty broad.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that's kind of ironic. It is Gorsuch invoked the Founding Fathers, and he was talking about, the whole idea about a habitual drunkard was the language there, and he was like, the Founding Fathers were notorious for being drinkers.
Oh, yeah, they were.
They were serious drinkers. And they put together the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, and no one said, nope, sorry, not valid, because you like your drink.
I know some elected officials, including in public office, that I would never be able to keep up with in a drinking. But they probably couldn't hold a candle to the Founding Fathers. Those guys knew how to hit it.
So when you're looking to the original intent behind the Second Amendment, he's like, this will probably beyond what they were thinking of when they wrote that. So it's an interesting decision. It's probably the right decision.
Yeah.
Setting aside Hunter Biden one way or the other, I just love the irony there. But yeah. So that was the big one yesterday, as far as like the headlines and the wow factor.
Yeah, and the others I know weren't as wide
No,
spreading.
they had to do with. I don't even remember. Like, that's how my mind works. It's
no.
like, because we weren't going to write on them.
Look it up, people. It's fine. Let's talk about this one here. Because this is one where, now keep in mind, I admit that I'm probably one of the more unapologetically radical people when it comes to the Second Amendment, because I think the Second Amendment means it's none of the government's business what guns that I own. It's none of the government's until I do something bad or threaten to do something or plot to do, is none of their business. I think even gun registration requirements are unconstitutional on its face. I don't think it's any of the government's business which guns I own and don't own. That's where I'm at on it, and I don't think they have a right to track it myself. But we've got all these laws we have to deal with, and I think they're all unconstitutional. But maybe someday we'll clear it for it. Maybe we won't. But that's just my radical take on it. Now, going back to the marijuana thing, I remember when medical marijuana was first passed in Missouri, and then well in Illinois before that, and it was always a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We passed medical marijuana, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, which was essentially the spoken out loud secret. It means we've legalized it for you. Just get a doctor to write a prescription for
is not
anything.
hard to do.
There were billboards on Highway 6440 right around the river. I remember saying, get your medical marijuana card, click this. And they were just openly advertising, we will have somebody with a license certify something. And the way I understand it was, you could say anything. I feel a little depressed. I have a little joint pain, whatever. And they would just give you the card for whatever.
Joint pain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, didn't. And so I remember some of my buddies were like, hey, I can do this, and it's legal. And I remember going, guys, I wouldn't do that if I were you, because you're putting yourself into a database of somebody who is, because I think the most common thing is they were saying is like, I don't know, depression or anxiety or whatever. I said, guys, you're voluntarily enrolling into the government something that says there's a medical issue with you. I said, and at some point they're going to use that for your Second Amendment rights, because history tells us that. And a few guys went, oh, yeah, I never thought about that. The others were just so intent on getting marijuana legally that they did it. And I even was like, guys, we're going to pass eventually it's going to be legal everywhere. Don't worry about it.
They were going to think about it, but then they got high.
That's right. I was going to fill out my form what?
But then I got high. ATF form 4473.
Yeah, see,
it's hard to rhyme. It's hard
who
to
was
rhyme
it that did that song? That wasn't Afro Man, was it?
Yeah.
It was Afro Man? Yeah, so, okay, form what now?
For ATF form 4473.
Okay, I was going to fill out my
ATF form 4473.
But then I got high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have. It doesn't have.
Yeah,
it's
a little awkward.
It doesn't have the thing there. Yeah. So, but anyway, bottom line is toke, don't toke, chew up a gummy, don't chew up a gummy. Your Second Amendment rights are not affected by that as a result of this particular ruling. So does that mean they just have to rewrite the form, or do they have to strike that question? Or do we know yet?
They have to. The ATF has to redo their regulation.
It's a big victory for cancer patients and gangster rappers, apparently.
Yeah, well, and there's probably some overlap somewhere.
There's some overlap.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. There are cancer-stricken gangster rappers out there, probably, and they want to get high.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So what are you doing for lunch today? I know. Now that I have the book in front of me, I'm thinking about something else. Okay, so what are you doing for lunch today?
I mean, I just threw it at you.
Should be going to hang out with Jamie Allman, because he's doing his broadcast today live from Shorty's Diner. That's right, from noon till 2 today. You can watch Common Sense Radio live, taking the great atmosphere and food at Shorty's Diner on Lackland in the Westport area. As Shorty says, it's not fancy, it's not fat-free, it's just the way it used to be. The Jamie Allman 3-Martini Lunch live Friday, June 19th. That's today, noon till 2. Plan on grabbing some friends and joining us.
You look for some answers, for false impressions, well, baby, they will last forever.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline.
Hello, Kirk Ilsinger, chairman of the Republican Party for the city of St. Louis, and we believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. I invite you to our meetings the first Thursday of every month. Learn more at stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Showers wash all my cares away. I wake up to a sunny day 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Ooh, ooh, I love a rainy night.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee, because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
A little Eddie Rabbit.
This was one of my dad's favorite songs.
I've got a soft spot for this song.
Yeah, well, I do too. Reminds me of my daddy.
Oh, there it is. So, and that was kind of the theme this week, right?
Yep, today's theme is songs that remind you of your loved one.
Well, I don't know who requested that, but thank you, because this was truly one of my dad's favorite songs.
Yeah, I love this song.
He was a terrible dancer, but he would be up there shaking his shoulders, dancing to this.
This was Eddie Rabbit. Okay, cool. So you wouldn't remember, but Eddie Rabbit was like one of those crossover things, because he was popular in the country music realm and he made it big in pop music too.
I've never heard this before now, but I really do enjoy the song.
I love this song.
It was just a feel-good song.
Yeah, fun song. All right, coming up on 6:20 right here. All right, yeah. Now with that setting the table for Flashback Friday, I'm kind of looking forward to everything else.
It's going to be a tough one to beat.
Yeah, I heard what was it? That song, that Eddie Rabbit song. He only had like 2 or 3 like huge hits.
Yeah. Well, there was one with Crystal Gale. What was the duet with Crystal Gale?
Yeah. And that came on. It was like the 80s channel on Sirius I was listening to a few weekends ago, and I'm like, that's one of those, like, I just got to crank it up, you know? I mean, just for some reason, I just love this song. All right, so been another, obviously, big week in news. Let's do a little look back here. This is what the news sounded like this week here on News Talk STL, and God knows what next week's going to sound like.
With the rates that we've had, we have not had the income necessary to do regular replacement of the lines. These lines were over 100 years old, and we have been replacing lines at a much slower rate than we need to for decades. And so you're seeing decades of deferred maintenance.
They can get a lot if they comply with the United States demands. They don't get anything if they don't comply with anything.
His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place. Because if they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Since abortion drugs were made widely available under the Biden administration, a growing number of men have been arrested for using them to force women to have abortions.
You've got the master deal maker here who used the leverage that he has, who still has that leverage as president moving forward to make sure that they're not going to secure a nuclear weapon.
Okay, so does Gavin Newsom, when he's getting overshadowed by other stuff in the news, just seem like the kid who's like, look at me, look at me, look at me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what ends up coming of some of this pressure that's being brought to bear on him and his wife. And, for everyone who thinks it's purely political, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, there's been stuff going on for a long time, and no one does that better. No one digs into that better than my boss, Jennifer Van Laar. So,
who happens to be in the Golden State.
yes, and so if you haven't been following her reporting on Gavin Newsom, you might want to do that.
Yeah, and this is what's interesting for those who are saying, well, it's all political. It's basically looking at point A is there is an investigation into the Newsoms. Point B, Newsoms are political opponents of Donald Trump. So therefore, point A and point well, that's not that simple, because among the accusations are that they took a crap ton of money designed to help fire victims from the Palisades fire, and then the victims didn't get anything. Okay, I don't care if your name is Newsom or Trump or Schmidt or Kehoe or Ferguson or Booker. It doesn't matter. That warrants an investigation.
Yes, it does.
And so that's now maybe they'll find that they've skirted the law, or maybe they find they were, but that's the red flags. And so to come out and say, but look at Orange Man bad. Yeah, that's not a compelling case.
It's not. It is absolutely not. They don't have to. Here's the other thing: they don't have to rewrite laws and undo statutes of limitations to look into what Gavin's doing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, let's so we got some fresh stuff. The dust hasn't gathered on it yet. Yeah,
no.
I mean, it happens with politicians a lot, but something about California, man, it's obviously
it's dirty as the day is long.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a very corrupt machine, and people that go, try to report on it and dig into that, they put themselves at risk.
Yeah. All right, so you can find a lot of that reporting, you said, on RedState.com.
That's true.
Of course, here. So, matter of fact, it is that time of week here. Get caught up on the news before you get a breather for the weekend, and I am an advocate of taking a little breather on the weekends for most of us here. But RedState.com, good place for that. So, Susie, which stories should we check out today?
This is the Red State Rundown.
First up from Ben Smith. America has elected 2 Adamses and 2 Bushes. Senator John Kennedy isn't ruling out joining the club.
I was fascinated by that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where he's, we're starting to kind of look at 2028, and so all of the theoretical high-profile people are being asked, would you? And he's just saying he's never ruled it out.
Yeah. Now, John Kennedy is getting up there.
He's a little long in the tooth.
In the age, and he's the first one to make jokes about it.
Yes.
He's incredibly popular with
He's younger than our past 2 presidents. So
it's true, yeah.
Just saying.
I would imagine that would probably be more of building up some political capital than anything, which I'm fine with John Kennedy having more political capital.
He is a national treasure. So
Yes,
anyway, he's not ruling it out. He's playing footsie with it. You can go check that Ben's article on that out. Jennifer Oliver O'Connell has It's About to Go Down. FBI descends on LA Skid Row over potential voter fraud, bribery of homeless. Yeah, they're looking very closely at how that was all handled. And again, keep your popcorn ready is all I have to say about that.
I have walked through Skid Row. I have been there. I've seen it. I have unfortunately smelled
Giving you
it.
his street cred, folks.
Yeah, I have smelled it, unfortunately. They're walking around like the Walking Dead in parts that part.
But they vote.
But apparently they vote. But it was they're I mean, they look, and I'm not trying to make fun of them. They look like zombies.
Yes.
In many areas on there.
Yes.
And what's weird is in that part of L.A., that part of like, I forgot what direction it is, but part of the downtown L.A., it's right off Los Angeles Boulevard. You can walk to it from there. And you get one part of the area where it's like the cool, beautiful people in their hipster bars and restaurants, and then you get Skid Row, and then the next thing over is another cool hipster bar, and then you got the sunglasses shop that you wonder how they're in business. Well, probably something in the back is going on that's just a front. So it's a really weird area, but Skid Row is it's
part of the mix.
It's just part of the mix. Yep.
Yeah, and they're looking into that, and that's something worth following. I also wanted to point out this article by Ward Clark. Love it. Boston statues get Scottish cone treatment from Tartan Army. The Scots have kind of taken over Boston, basically drank the whole town dry.
Yes, they
and
did.
they are continuing one of their favorite pranks, which is taking traffic cones and putting them atop the statues.
Dunce caps.
Yes, and it's actually pretty hilarious.
The Scot.
God bless the Scots.
These are, first of all, these are my people.
These are my people too.
Yes. And I had one of my baseball games last night, and some of the guys on my team were talking about the Scottish fans for the World Cup. And because apparently on several flights over from Europe to come to watch the Scottish team, they drank the planes dry. And then at restaurants, they're drinking the bars dry.
Right.
And I haven't been to Scotland for 8 or 9 years, but it is not unusual to see people drinking for breakfast.
They're a hearty sort.
They are a very hearty sort. Now, what was really funny is the only drunk people I saw there was the homeless chick in the cemetery. That's a whole other story. And then there were the ugly Americans who were there touristing things, and they were the stupid drunks. But everybody else was handling
they can handle it.
they were handling their licker just fine.
They might
over
get
there.
a little funny with the traffic cones and the statues, but they can handle it just fine.
Yeah, the Scottish fans are making quite an impression. And weren't they one of those, like the Japanese fans, where after one of the games they like made sure to clean up their part of the stadium too?
I hadn't seen that, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yes, the Japanese definitely did, and maybe that caught on. So maybe I first of all, pretty much all the stories so far about the visitors to our country for the World Cup have been feel good, and I love it. Love to see it.
They're behaving better than we do.
Much. But they're also getting treated to like real Americans who are there from, what you're seeing the buzz online is like they're being made to feel very welcome, and it's fun.
I was over in Scotland for a couple of weeks, and they unbelievably friendly. And they didn't really care where you were from. Now I've obviously I've got a lot of differences of opinion on like government stuff on there, but I had a great time, over there, particularly in Edinburgh and in the Highlands. It was just
I hope to get there someday.
Yeah, it was just a fun group. I mean, they were very welcoming, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
They do know how to.
And I'm glad they're having fun here.
Me too.
Because we're talking about literally they ran out of booze on multiple flights because of the Scottish fans.
And Boston bars were having an issue.
And yes.
Boston.
Yes. I mean, that's like professional level right there.
It is.
I mean.
It is.
Well, the Scottish are born with a blood alcohol content of 0.08. So
right, pretty much. That's how it shows up in the Ancestry DNA database.
Well, you know what they call Scotch over there? They call it,
water?
We call Scotch. Yeah, is Scottish water. That's what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah, we call it whiskey. They call it Scottish water.
They call it breakfast.
That's yeah, they do. It cracked me because we were, where were we? I think we were in a little town called Dunvegan, and we were getting breakfast in this like hotel little. There was a hotel in town, and we were just getting the breakfast at their thing. And it was very common. They were breakfast, like they're getting their Scottish breakfast. There's their stuff, and then what do you want to drink with that? Of course, we're looking for coffee, which is not that popular over there. The tea is very popular for breakfast, and of course, alcohol as well. And that was kind of a culture shock when I was over there.
Yes, well, they know how to have fun, and I'm glad for that.
Oh yeah, and they're just having a great time. So the guys, I hadn't even heard the story. The guys on my team were telling me these stories. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, no, that checks out. That checks out. Yeah,
it's legit.
On a more serious note, though, we warned you. The judge's ruling removes almost all protections from women when they're getting an abortion in Missouri. We've got the update at that at 6:35.
I wake up to a sunny day 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Someone in that control room is out of control.
On NewsTalk-STL.
You know it makes me feel good.
From the NewsTalk-STL Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a beautiful Friday. Temperatures into the lower 80s, mostly sunny skies. Dew points into the 50s, so not much humidity. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 85 degrees. Into Sunday, we've issued a first alert weather day, as we're going to be seeing the potential for some showers and storms, some of which could become strong to severe. We'll be tracking 2 rounds, one during the morning round, and during the secondary round, we're going to be looking towards the afternoon, evening hours. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist biggest chance got.
Looking to celebrate the 4th of July with a bang? Then look no further than Powder Monkey Fireworks. We've got bottle rockets, fountains, cakes, mortars. Our selection is endless with low prices and no gimmicks. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you choose the perfect fireworks to make your holiday unforgettable. You'll go bananas at Powder Monkey, Highway 94 in St. Charles, on Westwood in Weldon Spring, and on Brendel in Rocky Mount. Don't want to fight the crowds? Order online at powdermonkeyfireworks.com.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
World Cup fans from around the world love America. Too bad the left hates America. We'll see what Karen Catalan has to say about that Thursday at 9:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
She just started liking cheating these songs, and what's bothering me, I don't know if it's the cheating she likes or just the melody. I've never had any reason to doubt her. As far as I know, she's been true. But lately she's had a different look in her eye. I wonder if she's seeing somebody new.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Do not know that song. It's not necessarily a feel-good song.
I was going to say, if this reminds you of a loved one, it's a bad memory.
I was going to say, I did not say it had to be a happy song. It just had to be about a loved one, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think. Is this a Randy Travis? Who is this?
This is John Anderson.
Oh, okay. No,
She just started liking cheating songs. I hope whoever requested this one, everything's okay.
It's cathartic for you, and okay.
Hope so.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this is the kind of song that will bring back memories, apparently. So. All right, coming up on 6:35 here. All right, a lot of us expected this. The radical pro-abortion constitutional amendment that barely passed in 2024. Well, that results in pretty much anything goes.
Mm-hmm.
We knew this was going to be the case, and a judge basically confirmed that in Jackson County yesterday. And so Planned Parenthood and some others were suing, as we expected, saying all these regulations that you have regarding abortion, they're now unconstitutional under the Missouri Constitution, and the judge agreed. Now, the judge involved there is known to be a leftist, without a doubt, but I'm not certain that she was wrong in the ruling based on what was passed into the state constitution. Now, don't get me wrong. What was passed in the state constitution is horrific, and we need to get rid of it this coming November. But this is the consequence of passing that horrible state constitutional amendment.
Yep.
So I'm looking through here at what was ruled on. Now, there were a couple things that actually have been left in place by the ruling, but basically the chemical abortion pill is now, for the first time since 2018, coming back to Missouri. Planned Parenthood is giddy over this. They're going to start dispensing that next week. So here are the regulations and the safety provisions that were declared unconstitutional in the judge's ruling. And yes, like I said, leftist judge, got a very spotty history, stuff we wouldn't like. However, we have one of the most radically pro-abortion constitutions in the country in Missouri now.
Yes.
Like
Constitution.
Arguably as bad or worse than Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And so among the things that the judges ruled is that special licensing requirements for abortion providers is now unconstitutional. So if you have to get a special license for pick any specialty, you would have your
braiding hair.
That's right. Yeah, you got to do that. But I mean, if you're an oncologist, I don't know if you need to be specially licensed or certified to be an oncologist as opposed
They
opposed
usually
to
board certify in their specialties.
Yeah,
but
any specialty licensing is now unconstitutional.
Okay.
But this goes to what's in the state constitution, doesn't even limit abortion providing to medical professionals.
No.
Also, the state's ban on telemedicine for chemical abortion. So basically, what was the rules were before is like if you're going to do the chemical abortion, that you have to be there with a doctor the same way you would do if you were doing a physical abortion. So that's been ruled unconstitutional, meaning Planned Parenthood can just start handing it out. And I don't know if this means they're going to start mailing it out, but Planned Parenthood is going to be dispensing it like candy now.
Okay, I'm confused, and I admittedly have not read the ruling, so bear with me. But the article says one of the few laws upheld by the judge is a requirement that patients meet with a doctor in person before being prescribed medication abortion,
right?
And also a requirement that only physicians can perform abortions.
See, that's
what it says in the article,
right?
So that's why I'm
right.
confused because it's a little murky about what
the ban on telemedicine is for abortions is for the person to be there when they actually take the chemicals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that there's and then here this has been a wonky but a hot topic. Hospital admitting privileges have been required if a doctor does abortions.
Right.
That they have to be qualified to have admitting privileges at an area hospital,
right?
Which is standard for everything else.
Yep.
And now it's a carve out that, well, if you do abortions, we're going to let you go do wherever.
That's the exception.
Yeah. There was a law, and I did not know this law. I actually just was talking to Nick Shore yesterday. I should have asked him about this. A requirement for physicians who are prescribing chemical abortions to have a state-approved complication plan, meaning when something goes wrong, because about 1 in 10 at least has complications, you better have a plan for how you're going to treat this person. Well, no, that's struck down. And that's one of those basic safety guidelines. That law is not even about stopping abortion. That's about saying when this hurts you, what's the doctor going to do to try to stop the harm?
I guess it's just go to the ER.
Right.
We'll just get your medical care from the people that haven't been treating you, so they can just kind of
right.
Okay.
And then there's chemical abortion providers have to carry insurance covering physicians after they leave employment. I'm going to be really honest. I don't know what that means. So I don't know what that law is all about.
I can guess because since I did insurance defense.
Yeah.
So, someone may make a claim 2 years after the injury happens.
Right.
If the person has left the practice, are they still covered? Is there still insurance there to cover that claim is what that means.
Yeah.
So
the insurance that was in place at the time wouldn't necessarily cover it. Okay. All right. So it seems like regardless of the requirement, that would be a good idea just from a business perspective.
But why?
Yeah.
Let's just throw it all out.
Well, because under the state what voters passed is that essentially there are liability protections if it's abortion that's being done.
Mm-hmm.
And when the article says that she upheld that only physicians do abortions, that's not the way the Constitution reads. So it's interesting that she upheld that. And now, there is one that does not shock me at all. The requirement that patients be given material by the state, including a pamphlet that reads, "The life of each human being begins at conception. Abortion will terminate the life of a separate, unique, living human being." Well, that's all factually accurate, but there's no way that was going to withstand the judge's muster with what we passed right here. And so, like I said, Planned Parenthood is just very, very giddy about this. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway put out a statement very quickly saying that she is going to appeal this.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think it goes.
It'll go to an intermediate appellate court.
Yeah.
So I don't. What
This
she's
was-
in? Okay, yeah, it'll go to the Western District Court
Western
of Appeals,
District, yeah.
and then from there it would go to the Missouri Supreme Court.
Yeah, because it's going to be appealed either way. But I mean, Susie, this you've got obviously expertise in this in the field of law that I don't. But based on the state constitution that was passed, which was sloppy, shoddy, terribly written, but it's the state constitution. My guess is that these rulings generally are going to probably be upheld. That doesn't mean that's good policy. It doesn't mean it's a good thing. But I'm guessing that the Supreme Court or the appellate court, they're just going to look and say, okay, what's the state constitution say? That's what we have to rule based on.
Yeah, I mean, without looking at the opinion itself, I don't know if there's potential holes there where there might be some that is reversed. I just don't know. But in all likelihood, the bulk of it at least will.
Yeah.
And that's because the Constitution is so this provision in the Constitution is so broadly written. And it speaks to something that I think really, particularly our legislators, but everybody needs to think about. When you are crafting legislation, whether it is a statute or going to be a constitutional amendment, the wording is paramount.
Everything.
Like every single word, every single jot and tittle, as they like to say, needs to be
Every single what?
jot and tittle.
Huh.
That's an old
That was the phrase was what?
Jot and tittle.
Oh, I just was seeing how many times I can get you to say.
I know.
Okay,
You're
yeah.
because it's not a bad word.
I know. I'm.
Welcome to Mike's 12-year-old
I was
brain.
going to say 12-year-old Mike just had fun with that.
Look it up. It's like an old way of saying dotting your I's and crossing your T's. But it really matters because that's what ends up being construed by the courts when the lawsuits come. And if the provisions aren't, clearly spelled out. So the reason I was saying that is because, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, we became immediately one of the most abortion restrictive states in the country.
We were immediately one of the most, if not the most pro-life state in the country for a hot minute.
Which was great.
Yeah.
But there were potentially holes in how that was done, which left us open to a massive swing back the opposite direction. And now we're trying to swing it back closer to what would be good, not optimal, not ideal, but at least better than what we've got right now. And we're continuing to fight back and forth. So if you word things properly from the get-go, you kind of button them up and protect them from being overturned by the courts later.
Right. And we do know that the vote that passed this, that there was a lot of dishonesty on the proponent side.
Very much so.
A lot of dishonesty on that. So it's back on the ballot in November. The pro-life, the good Amendment 3 will be decided on November. This ruling shows, I mean, you can be mad at this leftist judge all you want, but what's in the state constitution is incredibly radical, and it's basically making abortion a special sacrament in the state government that is untouchable for the most part. And so that's why the upcoming Amendment 3 vote is so crucial. Does it completely ban every abortion? No, it does not. There are exceptions in there. It is definitely a pro-life amendment. Now, if you're saying, well, I'm an abolitionist, well, it's probably going to stop 95% of the abortions in the state.
So do you let the perfect be the enemy of the good?
Yeah, you don't. And matter of fact, Nick Schroer and I were having that conversation just yesterday, hanging out in the studio. And he said that's one of the things that that can drive you nuts in politics is you got to assume people to say it's not good enough unless it's a complete and total utter ban, which voters will not pass.
They won't pass.
So you can save 95 or 97% of the lives and then still say, okay, how do we go back and save the other 3 or 4 or 5%?
Right.
Or we can continue to sacrifice these lives to the altar and the God of Planned Parenthood. So Amendment 3, we cannot be bashful about it. We cannot be shy about it. This is crucial, not just for the life and the lives and death involved, but for the basic fabric of, are we going to have any shred of morality in this state at all as a foundation of who and what we are?
Right. Yeah.
We have to.
Critical.
Pass this. Have to.
Critical. On a somewhat lighter note.
Yes, just a bit.
Next Friday, we are going to be celebrating NewsTalkSTL's birthday. That's right, our 5th birthday is coming up, and we want you to help celebrate it with us next Friday, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville in St. Charles County. The outdoor party starts at 7 when Jason Nelson and the Retro Nerds take the big stage. A full evening of one of the best 80s tribute bands in St. Louis. We will be under the pavilion up near the stage, so come by and say hi to everybody. Enjoy the evening under the stars with food trucks, great music, and an all-ages fun night. 7 to 10 Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville. FrankieMartinsGarden.com.
You can't blame a body for looking when there's a world of people out there. But I hope she's not taking any closer looks. I tell you lately, frankly, I've been scared.
News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Boones Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis. Or go online to OverstockOutletSTL.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL. JC's Sunday Showgram.
The world pretty much came to a stop this week in 1989 when a little movie called Batman opened. You'll hear my conversation with Kim Basinger. Also, it's back to 2013 with Weird Al Yankovic in the studio. And why did my very first radio gig get cut short after only one show? All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com.
With all of the celebrations, anniversaries, and holidays coming up over the next few months, where are you going to go to get that special something for the special people in your life? Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, of course. Newsteaders Fine Jewelers found 24/7 at wowdiamonds.com. Tim Jones here to tell you all about Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Richard Newsteader and his team serving our region since 1961 with awesome, honest jewelry solutions. They've got everything from diamonds to wedding engagement rings, hand-engraved items, pendants, earrings, and so much more. You can find them 24/7, wowdiamonds.com. That's Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. Little things I should have said and done.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at NewsTalkSTL.com.
But you were always on my mind.
Yeah, you got to have that part.
You were always on my mind.
He's still out there doing it. 90 whatever years old, Willie Nelson.
And he still has his original guitar.
I did not know that.
So even with just a quick tangent, real quick.
Yeah.
So there's a massive hole in the front of his guitar from all of his picking and when he was learning and stuff like that.
I mean, literally probably 70 years worth of playing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So his guitar tech, he has a very specific guy that part of his job is to actually preserve that hole to make sure that it stays as, not to fix it, not to fill it in, not even to clean it up and make it a different acoustical. It's just he wants to preserve it just exactly how it is. And Willie Nelson said when his guitar gives up on him, he's done playing music.
Well, he'll outlast it.
Oh, he'll probably outlast us.
Might.
At this point. Just
He
saying.
might.
All right. Okay, so St. Louis police say they're stopping teen takeovers before they start around town. And maybe the Cardinals had too much barbecue in Kansas City before the game last night.
You think?
I'm just saying because
Set a little heavy on their tummies.
A little bit
from
on there.
Really being...
not being able to chase the ball out there. Yeah. All right. 6:50 right now. Let's get our first news dump of the day in.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by Whistle Pig Outdoors. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
You know, I mean, they get all the news.
The morning news dump.
I don't want to slight barbecue here in St. Louis. There's a couple really good places. But if you're going to do a barbecue road trip, Kansas City. There's some of the best in the
No, that's legit.
I would argue maybe the best in the country.
Hmm.
I know somebody's going to argue.
They had the cattle yards.
Yeah.
I mean, the stockyards.
Oh, the stock. I've been there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's legit. I mean,
Yeah.
I love there's a good St. Louis, Kansas City rivalry, but I will not have any problems fighting them over barbecue.
They win barbecue.
Yeah,
they win barbecue. All right. St. Louis City Police say they have learned of planned teen takeovers, including one at Forest Park this weekend, and they are getting out ahead of it to prevent any problems and dangers. KMOV's Corey Stark has the story with comments from Police Department spokesman Mitch McCoy.
Police say they are aware of social media posts calling for a takeover Saturday night at Forest Park. They say they'll have additional officers in the area of the park and will not tolerate unlawful or violent activity.
This is now the time for parents to be engaged, guardians to be engaged, and to start having those conversations with their kids on what they are doing. What we know right now is that these events appear to be getting organized on Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. Parents need to be very mindful. They need to be asking their kids, their teenagers, where are you going Saturday? What are your plans? Watch them like a hawk, right? Because we do know that kids will be kids.
Well, this takeover in Forest Park isn't the only one police know about. SLMPD says it is shifting officers' schedules this weekend to help prevent the takeovers before they can begin.
And there were apparently 3 that they've caught wind of at least. And here's what you've got now is the police saying, parents be parents.
Yes.
And if you notice, since they cracked down downtown on the nonsense, including citing some parents, we haven't had as many problems. And that was pretty fast response, result.
Right. So this is good. They're being preemptive, letting folks know, you're not going to get away with this. Do not let your kids run wild like a bunch of hooligans.
If the police have to tell you to be a parent, you should reevaluate what the job you're doing as a parent.
Yeah, but if you have to be told, you probably aren't really great
Right.
on the reevaluating part of it.
And that's not the only thing going on. Mayor Kara Spencer announces a juvenile curfew for next weekend's Gay Pride festivities in the area of town that includes the Grove. It's not just the Grove, but in that general area. 2 people were shot last year when a fight broke out in the early morning hours after the celebrations.
This is about avoiding a repeat of previous unfortunate events, not about making it harder to be a teenager in the city. Pride is obviously such a fun and important celebration for our community, and we don't want anyone to avoid joining in the festivities because they don't feel safe.
Gotta slip the virtue signaling in there on the public safety thing, of course.
It's Pride Month, Mike.
Yep. No one 17 or under is going to be allowed to be in that area, including the Grove, between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. without adult supervision. The bars in the Grove also have agreed to close at midnight next Saturday and next Sunday as well.
Yeah. I guess when I think of the Grove, I think primarily of like the bar scene. And so to me, if you're 17 or under, theoretically,
why would you be there?
Shouldn't be
and if you're a
there.
parent bringing your juvenile, your minor out to late night Pride stuff, I got other questions for you.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of questions.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how well it goes, to see if they're able to enforce the regulations and if people abide by them. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to also do some barricading along Manchester right there in the Grove as well. Right. Interesting thing, look at Elliot Davis's coverage of this.
Oh, yeah.
And the police department didn't know about this press conference until the rest of the media was notified.
Oh.
There's a little tension going on in there. Yeah, so Elliot Davis TV on Facebook is where you want to check there. Okay, Department of Homeland Security reports that one of the suspects in the alleged, because I have to say alleged, plot on the attack on the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House, his name is Abraham Alvarez, is an alien who was allowed to enter the U.S. through the DACA program during the Obama administration. Yeah. On the Ingram Angle on Fox, Senator Eric Schmidt says this is proof that we need to continue fixing the broken immigration system.
American workers are being displaced. American students are being displaced. President Trump is finally moving forward with more denaturalizations. We need more of that, please. So I think that finally this issue of immigration is coming to a head.
Okay, so Alvarez is one of 5 suspects who's been arrested. Some reports refer to him as a ringleader in it. Authorities think that upwards of 23 people were actually involved in the plot.
I saw a report this morning that the way that they got wind of this was that one of the suspects' mom turned him in.
Mm-hmm.
She called the police. She's like, there's a problem here. I think we're concerned about it. And that's how they found out about this.
And then one of the
Bless her.
individuals was put into a hospital, and he confessed to it there.
Yeah, his mom is the one. So God bless her.
Yeah, and that's not the first time that something like that's happened in recent months.
Well,
see, when you keep an eye on your kids,
it is.
Then guess what? Sometimes you accidentally foil terrorist plots.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, what else we got going on here? Yeah, I got time for this. Okay, President Trump renewing efforts to pass the Save America Act, and he's asking Republicans to attach it to a renewal of FISA, which lapsed a week ago after the Senate did not renew Section 702, and that's this measure that gives the government to, they say, spy abroad without a warrant, although Americans can get caught up in that.
And are.
Senate Intelligence Committee Chair Senator Tom Cotton, Republican, was on the story with Martha McCallum on Fox, and he says Republicans just don't have the votes to make what the president wants happen.
We don't have 50 votes for it right now as it's written, much less 60 votes. And also, Mike Lee, who is the sponsor of the SAVE Act, he has said he doesn't want to connect the SAVE Act to FISA because he opposes FISA.
Yeah, those two things are frankly, attaching those two doesn't make any sense other than just I want it done politically. But FISA has been in need of reform for God knows how long.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that it's going to work to try and do that. I understand the idea behind it, but.
Yeah, because like you said, the warnings on that have come true in that there have been Americans who have been spied on and without a warrant in violation of the Fourth Amendment rights.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, it was a bad night for pitchers in Kansas City. Cardinals score 6 runs against the Royals, and normally that's enough to win a game.
Nope.
Kansas City racked up 14 runs to
Wow.
get the win. So, the Cardinals just needed one more touchdown. Tonight's game starts at 7:15. Michael McGreevy is on the mound for the Cardinals. You want to watch this game?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, do you have an Apple Plus subscription?
I don't.
Yeah, because this one's hidden behind the paywall on Apple Plus.
Hey, it's Columbo reminding you that when the fish are biting, gear up with the best at Bluff City Outdoors. They have a huge selection of all the gear you need for your next trip on the water, including great products from all the top brands in the industry like Mega Bass, Mad Cats, Penn, and more. Plus, join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on the Bluff City Outdoors Show for great conversation and the local fishing report. Open 7 days a week, 1 mile east of Fast Eddie's at 2813 East Broadway in Alton. Follow them on Facebook and at BluffCityOutdoors.com.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, your financial friend with Serenity Wealth Management. Tune in this Sunday for the Serenity Wealth Now show. Father's Day show, we are joined by Caroline and Micah of the Men's Modern General Store in my hometown of Cotterville. We're actually going to be on site this Father's Day, so tune in right here on News Talk STL, 9 a.m., the Serenity Wealth Now show. We'll see you then.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Andrew Krepushets, CEO of Red Balloon and the new military hire.
Well, it turns out for veterans, many of the skills, knowledge, and abilities that they've achieved while protecting our freedom don't line up with the keywords that corporations are looking for. So it's not actually a skill gap, it's a translation gap. So they are using different words for their skills than the corporations are looking for.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Vice President Vance is not going to Switzerland today after all. His mission to lead nuclear talks with Iran is on hold for now.
While an initial agreement halting the war between the U.S. and Iran has been signed by the presidents of both countries, a ceremonial in-person signing had been planned for Friday in Switzerland. And there, a new round of negotiations were to have begun over Tehran's nuclear program. Vice President J.D. Vance to lead the U.S. side. The White House later said Vance, though ready to leave, was postponing his trip, citing difficult logistics. The announcement followed reports that Iran was delaying sending its delegation over Israel's ongoing military campaign in Lebanon against the Hezbollah militant group. Ben Thomas, Washington.
And the Israeli military campaign in Lebanon did continue overnight. Israel's military reports hitting multiple Hezbollah targets in the wee hours. While some Republicans, including some of President Trump's allies, are skeptical of the Iran deal, Vice President Vance says the memorandum of understanding is already benefiting Americans.
Last night, 12.5 million barrels of oil went through the Strait of Hormuz. That is a high since the beginning of the conflict. Oil prices are down nearly at their level from the pre-war conflict. Gas prices dropped below $4 a gallon today for the first time since the conflict. And importantly, they're going to keep falling further given how low oil prices are.
Today's AAA national average for a gallon of regular gas, $3.97. That's down 2 cents from yesterday. Of course, your mileage may vary. New Orleans among Gulf Coast cities dealing with extensive flooding as what's left of Tropical Storm Arthur moves across the region. Flash flood and high wind warnings are posted across the Gulf Coast. Today is Juneteenth. It is a federal holiday and Wall Street is closed. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Did you really think Pure Talk was just going to sit back and watch America turn 250 years old without doing something awesome to celebrate? Of course not. That's why they're raising $250,000 for America's Warrior Partnership by the end of July. America's Warrior Partnership is on the front line of preventing veteran suicide. They've had extraordinary success, and here's how you can help. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk this month, you'll be invited to round up to support America's Warrior Partnership. No pressure, but if you do, Pure Talk will match your donation dollar for dollar. And to further celebrate 250 years of our extraordinary democratic republic, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe. And happy birthday.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a beautiful Friday. Temperatures into the lower 80s, mostly sunny skies. Dew points into the 50s, so not much humidity. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 85 degrees. Into Sunday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're going to be seeing the potential for some showers and storms, some of which could become strong to severe. We'll be tracking 2 rounds, one during the morning round and during the secondary round. We're going to be looking towards the afternoon, evening hours. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
This hour of NewsTalkSTL brought to you by Window World of St. Louis. For replacement windows, doors, and siding, call 800-GET-WINDOWS. That's 800-GET-WINDOWS.
Tim Jones here to introduce you to your new favorite roofing company, Corel Roofing. There were 4 major storms last year. Did your roof take a hit? Do you even know? Most homeowner insurance policies require claims to be filed within 1 year, so time's running out for a closer look. At Corel Roofing Company, you get a local roofing specialist who will advocate for you every step of the way. Give yourself peace of mind. Schedule your roof inspection today with Corel Roofing at CorelRoofingCo.com. That's CorelRoofingCo.com.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting soft water at all fixtures in your home with 1 unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Mike Ferguson.
What is that private pile? Sir, jelly donut, sir. A jelly donut?
Susie Moore.
Mama don't like tattletales.
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Amendment 4.
Yes.
Here in Missouri. Obviously getting a lot of attention along with the other things that are going to be on the ballot, as they should. But it's getting a lot of attention after we've had some special interest groups literally write their own rules into our state constitution over the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
At some point they figured out, hey, for about the same amount of money and effort, we can put this in the Constitution instead of just a referendum on the law. And boy, there's been a lot of special interests who have decided to do that and bypass the legislature and say, well, we'll set the rules. You need to react to us. And there's a bunch of different ones on that. So there is an element of the debate that we really haven't dug into just yet. Could Amendment 4 also be a factor in shoring up parts of our economy, particularly when it comes to jobs and job creation in businesses? We're now joined by Jared Hankison. He is with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. Jared, welcome to the show. I think it's the first time you've been on here. It was interesting when I was looking at your all's write-up, your press release on this. Missouri Chamber of Commerce on board with Amendment 4. You're encouraging people to pass it. And there's a lot of things I think everybody agrees on as far as election integrity and things like that. But you were actually looking at this from at least partially a job creators and I guess a regulatory stability environment. What is it from the commerce and economy perspective that has your attention regarding Amendment 4?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And good morning. Thanks for having me on the show. This is my first time and happy to be talking about something as important as Amendment 4. And I think you hit the nail on the head there in terms of summarizing our position. This is, when I'm testifying on legislation during, the legislative session in Jefferson City, one of the things I say time and time again, regulatory consistency, regulatory clarity, reliability, those are the things that are of the utmost importance to Missouri's business community. When you're making millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars of investment into our communities, things that are creating jobs, things that are driving funds into our school districts, into our hospital systems, you want to know what the lay of the land is going to be for years to come. You want to know what the rules are going to be for years to come. And a yes on 4 is a yes on that clarity and that certainty for business owners. And this is going to provide them that consistency in the regulatory environment that they need to make those investments that create jobs that bring our state forward into the future.
So we almost have a separate discussion, as in there's good and bad policy, which obviously you all are involved in working with lawmakers and lobbying them and things like that. And maybe you agree with me on stuff and maybe I disagree with you on stuff. But there's the good and bad policy question. And then there's the, okay, but at least we know what the rules are. And I've heard a lot of, economists and business owners say kind of just what you said, is that you can debate the good and bad stuff, but that takes a while to do through a legislative session. Mm-hmm. Just knowing even what the bad rules are gives you time and the ability to adapt. Am I summarizing your position correctly on that?
Exactly. And that's why we have such a robust legislative process, is so that we can talk through those good ideas and hopefully not talk as much about those bad ideas, but still work through them in a very diligent and deliberate way throughout a multi-month legislative session. What we have now in Missouri is the opportunity for, you said special interests, and I'll take it a step further, foreign special interests, to use Missouri as a testing ground and as a playing ground to buy policies and put them in our state's constitution, our most sacred document that is very hard to change. And we just don't think that is the right thing for Missouri. We are the show me state. Show me your argument, show me some deliberation, show me your coalition. Don't just show me a $10 million check that you're going to try to buy something into our Constitution. That's just not the way we do business here in Missouri.
I like that approach, Jared. Good morning. This is Susie Moore. One of the issues that to me keeps coming up when we're talking about these constitutional amendments that are going to be the ballot issues is messaging, because when you're talking about voters, many of whom are not political junkies like me and don't necessarily spend or have the time to dig into what's really at issue here, it's the sound bites. It's the little short bumper sticker, verbiage that gets their attention. And one thing that the left in particular excels at is messaging. Mm-hmm. And so how do we distill the key elements of Amendment 4 in a way that lets voters know why this is so critical, particularly on the economic front?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think you are right. One of the uphill battles that we have here is that the people on the other side of a lot of issues, they are good messengers, and they know what to do. But we've got a very clear message here and something that I think people can get behind. The thing that stands out to me is the most important part of this is on top of the transparency part of Amendment 4, requiring these ballot measures to be full in their description and what they're advertising to voters to do. Our key message here is let Missourians decide. Let this state be the state that generates its own policy decisions. We do not want to be that testing ground for foreign special interests to try to treat Missouri as a policy experiment, a policy lab. We want Missourians to, duly elect their officials to represent them in Jefferson City, and that's where we think policy decisions should be made. The message here is that Missouri's Constitution is not for sale, and foreign money has no business rewriting Missouri law. And I think that that's something that all Missourians would agree with, whether they're the Missourians that are in the urban cores of St. Louis and Kansas City, or whether they're the rural folks out in Bolivar and north of Highway 36. I think that's something that everyone can agree with.
We are visiting with Jared Hankison. He is the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. Okay, with speaking of the message, let me follow up to what Susie just said. I've seen the ads, and it's probably very effective, and it's very simple. And the other side is saying Amendment 4 would eliminate majority rule in Missouri, and it's basically democracy, democracy, democracy. So to me, the bar that we're raising this to isn't even that big of a bar, but their argument is even if you get 50% plus one, you can't change the state constitution depending on where those votes came from. So instead of digging in super deep and saying, okay, but here's the thing with the different regions of the state, the congressional districts, what's the right answer to that when somebody says, we're trying to eliminate majority rule, which is so simple. It's probably effective, even if it is completely vapid in its argument. But sometimes voters respond to vapid things.
They do indeed, and I've seen it many times myself. And again, it's our responsibility to just make sure that we're doing more messaging and better messaging. And that's one of the things that the Missouri Chamber is so excited about being a part of the Protect Election Integrity Coalition. But the truth is that that's just not true. What we're doing with Amendment 4, we're maintaining the majority threshold. The 50% plus one requirement is not being eliminated. That is just incorrect to say. What we're doing is we're adding additional layers. We're not eliminating anything. We're adding additional layers of scrutiny to make sure that on top of that 50% plus one, that all 8 of our congressional districts are having an opportunity to have their voices heard. I think going out here and saying we're eliminating, democracy or eliminating the voters' voices is wholly untrue. If anything, we're giving more power to the voters all across the state of Missouri, making sure that if we're going to change our Constitution, it's held to the highest degree of scrutiny, and every Missourian has the opportunity to have their voice heard when considering doing something like that.
Yeah, I think that's so key, is emphasizing every Missourian, because I think what ends up happening is you end up with the geographical factions. Mm-hmm. And so St. Louisans may say, well, I don't want that people in outstate Missouri to be able to govern what I do, and vice versa. We definitely run into that. What do you think the answer is to those who look at it and say, okay, well, this is just really corporate special interests that are pushing for this. This is there's some sort of, I don't know, greed or profit motive here on the part of the corporate world, and this is advancing their interests, but how is this helping just the regular voter?
Yeah, I really appreciate you asking that question, because I think that is something that is very commonly misconstrued. You've heard me talk about, foreign special interests and the money that's been dumped into Missouri. And I think a lot of the times people just conflate money with corporate, which, fair, totally understand. But look at what's happened in the state of Missouri over the past few years. One of the things I worked very closely on was the Prop A minimum wage paid sick leave fight. That was not corporations in Missouri pouring their money into that. That was foreign special interests, foreign billionaires spending their money to try to rewrite policy here in Missouri. And there's dozens of other examples just like that, where it's not the Missourians, the Missouri corporations, the Missouri small businesses that are putting their money into things like this. It is foreign entities that want to try to pay to play and by our rules. And I would really encourage people to go and look back at the history of some of these ballot measures and who the primary funders of these things have been, it is not your Missouri businesses that are taking the lead on this. It's those foreign special interests that want to undermine the integrity of our government.
Okay, we just got a minute or so left, Jared, and I want to quickly point out that this does not change the referendum process for statutes. You know, if you want to challenge a law or strike down a law or write a new law, as silly as it may be or as good it may be, this doesn't change a thing for that. This is only dealing with the state constitution. So talk for a second about the messaging of, yeah, for something that important, there should be a little more of a consensus than just 50% plus one of whoever happens to show up that particular day.
Yeah, it's a very important thing to flag, Mike, and I'm glad you said it. You know, we're maintaining the status quo on some of those referendums, but when it comes to what is truly our most sacred document, our shining star in the state of Missouri and in Jefferson City for who are we as Missourians? What do we stand for? What do we believe in? That document should have the highest threshold imaginable to be changed. It's not something that should be, you know, with the winds of change. There should be a very high standard. And I'll leave you with this. Look at the United States Constitution. Look at the state of Missouri's Constitution. We are significantly longer than the U.S. Constitution. And I think that that's problematic. We have things like bingo in our Constitution. We have laws related to marijuana in our Constitution. And I don't necessarily think that that's the place for those. I think a lot of Missourians would agree with that. So let's make sure that we hold the integrity of our Shining Star document and that we make sure that things have a high degree of scrutiny before they're ever considered to be placed in there.
And we don't have a single thing in our state constitution as to whether it's Missouri or Missouri.
Well, that needs to change.
We do not, but maybe that's one that you can push for. We can talk about that later.
That's right. All right, Jared Hankison from the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. The website, there's a particular website just for this, the protectelectionintegrity.com. Is that also on social media as well?
Yep, protectelectionintegrity.com. The website is great. Social media is great. You can also reach out to the Missouri Chamber, and we can hook you up with resources to learn more.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. All right, who was the worst this week? At 7:20, here are the contenders for the worst leftist media hot take of the week.
Making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference.
Mike Ferguson in the morning
I have to tell my kids that I'm a rock star now.
on News Talk STL.
Get up. Can't you hear the alarm?
On the next, Larry Connors USA.
The story behind the story, something personal, sentimental, in honor of Sunday, Father's Day.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Hey, when pests invade your home, you need someone you can trust. It's Jamie Allman here, and at Buckingham Pest Control, they're not just your exterminators, they're your neighbors and friends. A locally owned family business and St. Louis Magazine A-List award winner, providing affordable, quality pest control. Plus, they offer energy-efficient TAP attic insulation, the only insulation that controls pests. BuckinghamPestControl.com. That's BuckinghamPestControl.com.
Let's get real. Here's the truth about eliminating Missouri's income tax.
I'm here with State Representative Bishop Davidson. And Bishop, you've heard the complaints about the proposal. Here's your colleague, Representative Ashley Awney.
Frankly, the only thing that this resolution does is increase sales taxes.
So what does this do and what does it not do if we say yes?
The first part of this constitutional amendment is a constitutional shall. It's a guarantee to the people in Missouri that if they vote for this, that their legislature will enact and shall enact legislation to eliminate income taxes using natural economic growth over time. That means when the economy grows, instead of it going back into the coffers of the state, it goes into the pockets of Missourians. The second part is a constitutional may. It allows the legislature to have a conversation around sales taxes, but only so that they can eliminate income taxes faster and reduce local tax rates like personal property tax and real property.
Get the facts at afpmissouri.com.
This is Kurt Barr, Director of Elections for St. Charles County, reminding you that your vote counts. Missouri requires an acceptable photo ID to vote. This includes a Missouri's driver's license, a Missouri non-driver's license, a U.S. passport, passport card, or a military ID. And here's something a lot of people ask. You do not need a real ID to vote. Any qualifying photo ID is enough. Check before Election Day, not during. For official election information, visit sccmo.org/elections.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app
Love the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
and listen anytime, anywhere. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Say it loud. Say it loud. Say it clear. Oh, say it clear. You can listen as well as you hear. It's too late. It's too late when we die. Oh, when we die. We don't see eye to eye.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me for the Right Mind Show on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this wacky radio station. You know, and speaking of wacky, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
This is such a great song.
It is.
Mike and the Mechanics.
Yep.
Mike being Mike Rutherford from Genesis.
Genesis,
Yeah.
yes.
The guitar player for Genesis.
It did have a bit of a Genesis tone to it.
Yeah, yeah, and this is Paul. Is it Paul Carrick? I think is singing.
I think so.
Yeah, Paul. But yeah, this is kind of a side project. But Mike and the Mechanics put out. I don't remember how many. I know they had 2 really good albums.
Yeah.
In the mid-late '80s.
Yeah, well, each of the members of Genesis kind of went on to their own
Yeah.
solo careers that were very successful.
Yeah, yeah. Phil Collins did all right.
yeah. So did Peter Gabriel.
Peter Gabriel did all right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, great choice. Whoever sent this in, great choice. Because this isn't like this is like longing for like family and look. You know,
No, it's like
yeah.
make the most of the time while you're
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yep.
What a great song here. Okay, it is that time of the week. It is where we debate which leftist hot take is the worst that made it into the media. We have some very, very strong contenders this week. Shall we go right to it? All right, here's our friends from the Media Research Council.
This is very much like watching the Berlin Wall coming down.
Actually, it's nothing like that. But is that the worst media quote of the week?
It was the worst.
Here's our contenders. Option number 1, The View, Sonny Hostin claims the administration is erasing black people.
Talking about black history getting erased from public spaces. Black voter districts are being dismantled. Black leaders are being sidelined from our ranks. Where do Americans of color fit in this vision? Because it doesn't seem like we fit.
Option number 2, Jim Acosta compares removing Trump's name from the Kennedy Center to the fall of the Berlin Wall.
This is very much like watching the Berlin Wall coming down. It is a sign that mankind, that humankind can stand up against tyranny.
And option number 3, Robert De Niro's latest mental meltdown.
I can't love a country that sends out masked militias to shoot citizens in the streets, torture our neighbors, and separate families. I can't love a country that's led by a racist, misogynist, xenophobic tyrant. And let me just say it. I can't love the country that's led by Donald Trump.
TDS is strong with that one. Vote for the worst. This poll is funded by our good friend James Jamiro. And be sure to check out Newsbusters on Monday to find out which member of the media snagged the title for the MRC's Worst Media Quote of the Week.
It was the worst.
All right, and you can vote at the MRC on X or Twitter. If we haven't already put that up, that's already up. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, we got some strong contenders. You know, let's go around the room here. I know who my pick's going to be. What do you all think? Let's talk our way through it here.
Well, this week, to me, one just runs away with it. Jim Acosta.
Okay, all right, interesting. Okay, so tell me what jumped out at
Comparing a change of signage on a building pursuant to a court order to the fall of the freaking Berlin Wall. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how your brain puts those concepts together. Maybe he's been drinking too much of the algae from the water in the fountain and the reflecting pool. That is just beyond. it's not just ignorant; it's ridiculously ignorant. So
and
runs away.
To be fair, Acosta did not drink the algae green water from the reflecting pool because the Scottish soccer fans had already emptied it out. They took care of that already. Yeah.
Maybe he needed to then.
Maybe
I don't
that
know.
was
But
it.
yeah, that one to me Sonny's just being dumb.
Yeah, I see.
De Niro's just being dumb. Acosta's being like weapons grade dumb.
I kind of ruled out Sonny Hostin for the worst this week just because that was so on brand for her. And I'm like, you know what? I've gotten kind of immune to that level of her stupidity.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so I ruled her out. What do you think, Jerome? Who jumps out at you?
I'm torn right now because I agree entirely with the sentiment of the significance of the Berlin Wall falling and what that meant for the trajectory of the world at that point compared to removing a name from this building. But I do think Robert De Niro is probably where I'm at. I mean, he starts off by saying that he can't love a country led by a racist, misogynist, xenophobic tyrant. So immediately I'm like, okay, I don't like Iran very much either. But then to sit there and then say, I especially can't love one ruled by Donald Trump. So your contingency of your love and support for your neighbors, your community, the country that made you wealthy, rich, famous, successful, none of that matters to you because President Trump is in the White House.
You don't like the president.
And that is just... It's unbelievable that's how selfish and narcissistic and dumb you are.
Yeah. Okay, so I ruled out Sonny Hostin for my choice of the worst this week. Acosta, you see, with Acosta, I mean, first of all, I thought it was kind of silly that Trump demanded his name be put on the Kennedy Center.
Yeah, whatever you think about that.
But yeah, to say that was the Berlin Wall equivalent is just, I mean, that is looking for way. And when he was doing this into his iPhone, he had this like look on his face. He was trying to like, I am part of history right now. I am the first draft of history. I was like, no, it's a theater. It's the performing arts thing. You're not the first draft. It's a sign. It's like literally blocks glued to the wall, or probably screwed in. But
how many people were shot by guards to prevent the name being removed from the building?
Well, according to De Niro, a lot of them.
Yes, yeah, precisely.
Because I mean, lots of people were murdered trying to cross between the Berlin Walls. But I guess removing a name was also that dangerous.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to vote for De Niro as well. I think for a lot of the same reasons that Jerome did. Because listen, we've had presidents that I don't like. It doesn't change my opinion of the country. It may think that it may make me think that there's a lot of voters who don't get it or being dumb or mean or something. But that's different than saying you love your country. Matter of fact, you all wrote about a recent poll that came out, RedState.com, among CNN and some others. This showed a massive divide. It was a question basically coming up for the 250th anniversary of the country, birthday of the country. And somebody, I think it was YouGov, that asked the question, are you extremely proud to be an American? And the differences between the right and the left were remarkable.
They're stark.
Yeah.
It looks like our chat actually, they say Sonny Hostin.
Sonny Hostin. Well, see, she's never a bad choice for this.
So she's kind of like the bingo, the middle free square. Okay.
She obviously is.
Because of apparently, in their words, she's very much into the race baiting, and she's stoking fear and resentment and division.
Yeah.
And that's probably real world effect is worse than what it was said by the others.
See, here's the thing with these three candidates: there are no wrong answers. There are no wrong votes.
But mine's right.
Just righter than the rest of us.
Correct.
Right. But the polling that was done was remarkable because even CNN was reporting on this. And it was, where is it?
I don't know. You threw it at me.
Yeah, that one right
there.
there.
Back?
Yeah, well, here, go ahead and read because I had it with me and now I can't find it.
I shall read the paper that Mike gave to me by mistake.
Yes.
CNN stunned as bombshell poll reveals that Democrats hate America. Take it away, Mike.
Okay, so according to, and this was from Town Hall, 27% of Democrats say they'll fly the American flag on July 4th, 64% of Republicans. Now, read into that what you want, but here's the other big numbers. When Democrats were surveyed about whether they are extremely proud to be an American, only 29% of Democrats said yes, 90% of Republicans said yes. 24% of Democrats, so less than 1 in 4 Democrats, want to celebrate America as a priority on July 4th. 2/3 of Republicans want to do that as well. So that's a crazy differences just to show you how insanely tribal and ideological and virtue signaling we've become.
Yeah, and if you're going to be on one side of that particular issue or the other, which side would you rather be on? Like, I mean, I know that maybe it's kind of circular reasoning, but like, if your choice is love your country or hate your country to show what your tribe is, I'm going with love your country. What the heck, people?
Yeah. That doesn't say you can't be disappointed or angry at what's going on, or
Always
always want to make it better.
Yeah, but my goodness.
Yeah.
If you hate your own house that much, just
Move.
move.
Yeah.
That's right.
You hate your neighbors that much, go move. I mean, it's that simple.
Go emigrate to all those other countries that welcome, foreigners with open arms and don't have any hoops you have to jump through.
We'll let you out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you want to go, you don't
There's
have
the
to
door.
stay. You can leave.
Yeah, it's true.
And we especially don't want people like that coming to celebrate our birthday of the station with us at Barton's Garden, featuring the one, the only Retro Nerds, a fantastic performance of 80s themed tribute band. I've got to see them. I think they also played for the first birthday as well.
Yeah, they did. They were at our first birthday party.
So fantastic music will be provided. It's an all ages party that goes from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the outside stage. It's free. Just come by, say hi, listen to some good music, bring some money for the food trucks. It is a free event, but if you run into me, I might see if you heard me say that or not already.
He'll try to trick you into paying a cover.
Yes.
Don't believe him.
Don't believe him.
I will be terrifying everybody I come across. But stop by the NewsTalkSTL Pavilion near the stage and come and have a good time. Again, that is June 26th from 7 to 10 p.m. at Martin's Garden.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a beautiful Friday. Temperatures into the lower 80s, mostly sunny skies. Dew points into the 50s, so not much humidity. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 85 degrees. Into Sunday, we've issued a first alert weather day, as we're going to be seeing the potential for some showers and storms, some of which could become strong to severe. We'll be tracking 2 rounds, one during the morning round, and during the secondary round, we're going to be looking towards the afternoon, evening hours. In the first alert for Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney.
Alzheimer's is not just a memory problem, it's a brain resilience problem. This week we talk practical strategies to support brain function like diet, metabolic health, mitochondrial support, peptides, light therapy, sleep, and the habits that help the brain repair.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney. Saturdays at noon on NewsTalkSTL. To find out more about Simply Health Integrated Medical, log on to simplyhealthintegrated.com. Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on NewsTalkSTL.
CNN said Trump's Iran agreement might be flawed, but is getting what he wants. That's a powerful statement from the legacy media. Of course, they also claim Trump only accepted this deal for political reasons, helping ease gas prices and other costs. It does do that. But I also agree with Mark Levin. Trump deserves credit for his courage to do what no other president has done and no future president might do. The prime goal, keep Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Levin adds, Iran will never honor anything. And once money starts flowing into Iran, they will tell us to go to hell. Again, I agree. What we really wanted, an unconditional surrender. That did not happen. But this is far, far better than what Obama left us. So the Iranian regime plans for a nuke will probably continue, but they are delayed for now. The strait is open, so your cost at the gas pump and store will improve. Still, this is a deal with the devil. And we got a slice of devil's food cake, but not a corner slice with the most icing. And we got no ice cream to go with it. And you can forget about the cherry on top.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on NewsTalkSTL.
Spring weather has everyone sneezing, even inside their home or building. Instead of saying Gesundheit, call Wellington Environmental to perform air tests to determine if mold levels are too high. Gesundheit is the same as saying bless you after someone sneezes. the German word meaning wishing you good health. Wellington Environmental can perform air testing that is simple, fast, and can identify issues keeping you from having good health. Wellington does the same for hospitals and nursing homes for indoor concerns. Give them a call. It's simple. 314-644-4930. 644-4930. Tell Cindy, I need air sampling. They've seen it all. They can help you. Next time you hear Gesundheit, think Wellington. Wellington Environmental. Be well with Wellington.
This year, America turns 250, and NewsTalkSTL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. NewsTalkSTL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration. Trolley Stop Bakery, DG Firearms, and The Yard Guy. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 101.9 and 94.1 NewsTalkSTL.
At Body of Health, we're a small but mighty family operation with big ambitions for your health. I'm Helene Tobler, and I'm jazzed about how our MRI-grade body composition analyzer is putting personalized health and wellness on steroids. It helps me and Dr. Tobler, that's my husband, refine the advice we give to help you feel better and live longer. Body of Health, trusted, discerning, affordable health care the way it ought to be. Learn more at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
Love the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the NewsTalk STL app.
Anywhere. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where to be?
It's Flashback Friday.
Let's get back to all this madcap mayhem with Mike Ferguson in the morning. But don't forget, stick around for Jones and Arps every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m.
Ugh.
Not a fan?
I hate this song.
Fun Young Cannibals.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it, but the theme was songs for your loved one, so I don't know if this is saying that they really like the person or that they can't stand the person.
Yes. Could be either. Could
That's
be both.
right. I mean, I get it. But anyway, so, yeah. And the video for this is so weird.
It is kind of
Well, it was
weird.
the 80s.
It was, but this one was
This
very
is-
odd.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something that the Finding Cannibals I just never like got into. But it was a huge song. It's popular.
I was gonna say this was a big song.
big.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just pleasant.
But it means
fine.
something to somebody.
It does.
And I do appreciate that.
Yes.
No, I don't have to like all the things. But yeah, that's an 80s. That's definitely an 80s.
This
hit
isn't
there.
songs Mike likes.
No. Goodness, no. No, not in the least bit. All right. Okay, so it is 7:38 right now. More illegals behind the wheels of a big rig?
Go figure.
Imagine that. Yeah, apparently that is still happening, and RedState.com was covering that. See, they got this reporter, Susie, named Becky Noble.
I've heard of her.
You've heard of her. Okay, and she joins us right now. The article, here we go again, more illegal immigrant truckers busted by Border Patrol. At least they busted them at the border. Or where did they bust them? Because at one point they were in just outside Troy, Missouri up here, so I'd rather them bust it clearer, closer to the border. But what did they find? Because I think when the thing happened up here in this area, Becky, the truck was going the wrong way. I think it was on 61 in Lincoln County. And that drew attention. There were some accidents, obviously, Florida, Texas, California, places like that. Somebody started asking the question, how many of these guys out there are in the country illegally but are still getting CDL licenses? And we thought once the crackdown started, we stopped hearing about it, Becky, in the news at least, but turns out this is still a problem out there.
Yeah. Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me on. Hi, Susie.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, when I was researching this story, I guess a few months ago, back in February, when Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced this crackdown, that they had taken. Oh no, that was back in June of 2025. Forgive me. In June of 2025, Sean Duffy said that they had already at that point taken 20,000 illegal immigrant truck drivers off the road, which begs the question, how many are there to begin with? We have no idea. 20,000 is bad enough. But anyway, this happened in late May along the Yuma sector border in Arizona, and in mid-May, and it was a 5-day kind of sting operation, I guess, and they arrested 52 illegal immigrants who were driving and doing whatever they were doing along highways in Arizona. And of those 52, 36 of them, so do the math there, 36 were driving commercial vehicles with commercial driver's license, and they were issued by all of the usual suspects: California, New York, Washington State, Virginia. And 3 of them had no driver's license to speak of. But they were driving an 18,000-pound missile along the highway. Yeah. And so they've gotten a few more, and I think little by little, I think we're chipping away at it. And they were from what I said in my piece. It was like it's a small world. They were from El Salvador, India, of course, Mexico, Turkey, Russia. Other people named Singh. I mean, it's just it's going on and on and on. But thankfully, we have an administration now and a transportation secretary and people who are working for him and also for President Trump that are digging into this, and so that hopefully, as there are still a lot of these people on the road who are threatening the lives. If they're on the road, they're threatening the lives of Americans, and hopefully, little by little, we're chipping away at it and getting them off the road.
By the way, the mathing on that, 36 out of 52 is over 70%. Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, just that's the math, real quick.
It's crazy. I mean, Becky, I actually had to drive down to the Fulton area yesterday and back. So of course I was on Highway 70, and construction notwithstanding. I mean, of course there was like countless tractor trailers traveling Highway 70, and all I could think about the entire time was, okay, is the person? I mean, I've always kind of had this naive trust that the people that are actually licensed to drive those vehicles know what they're doing. They're professional drivers. They're competent. And I've relied on that. Not that I'm not going to be vigilant myself, but you hope and assume the people that are driving those, as you said, 18,000-pound missiles know what they're doing and are qualified to be doing so. And now I put no faith in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh, I think about it every time, and I've probably scared the heck out of our readers and listeners when I come on the air and talk about it. I scare myself every time I get on the interstate. I think about it, and it's gotten to the point. Last fall, my husband and my brother and I drove to Fayetteville, Arkansas, for a family wedding, and they both said, "Oh, you drive." And I said, "All right, I'll drive." I said, "But if I'm going to drive, it's your guys' job to look out for illegal immigrant truckers." I mean, it's to that point, where I'm joking around about it, but it's deadly. It's literally deadly serious.
Now, does it look like this type of sting operation, Becky, we're visiting with Becky Noble from RedState.com, could at some point be a deterrent? I mean, we've had the big stories that pop up that everybody gets outraged over, but this sends a message to whether it's the states that are issuing the CDLs or the companies that are hiring these guys. And I say guys, it's pretty much all guys. I mean, there's
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And so is there a deterrent effect that we can hope for or know of yet at this point? And then I want to ask you about the gay utility companies.
Well, yeah. I know that Sean Duffy had threatened Governor Hairgel out there in California, Gavin Newsom, with withholding a lot of federal money. I also believe not too long ago that he was also going to threaten New York Governor Kathy Hochul with the same thing. He was going to threaten to take away millions of dollars in highway money for the state. So there's that deterrent. I know that they're also cracking down on a lot of these fly-by-night trucking schools that are also run by some dubious characters who we don't know what their status in the country may be. So as far as deterrence, I think when they're threatening the governors to take away federal money, that may be a bit of it. But you know what? Yeah, I think if the governor is kind of scoffing at that, and in the end, Gavin Newsom, I think, did cave, and they are cracking down a little bit more in California now, and they're reviewing driver's licenses, all driver's licenses, and things like that. But yeah, I think if the governor is going to be like, whatever, there's got to be there has to be a deterrent that gets closer down to the ground. You know what I mean? That gets closer to the problem than just the governor and in Sacramento or Jeff City or wherever it might be.
All right, we just got a couple minutes left here, Susie, on this, but I got to ask about this
Go ahead,
article
go for
that
it.
she just
Go for
she just
it.
wrote about this.
I edited it, so you
my
go for
goodness, it's if you. Speaking of California,
The world's
Becky.
best editor.
Oh my goodness!
Thank you.
So the article is: if you want a utilities contract in California, be prepared to prove how gay you are. Now, I will point out that was not the Babylon Bee. This is RedState.com on this. Just to point out. So you've got to show how fabulous you are to get certain contracts in California.
Well, every time I read a story about California, I think about our coworkers who live there and how brave they are and how they're fighting for the place that they love, their home. But yeah, and it's kind of a only in California story. So they have some privately owned public utility companies there, and they're regulated by something called the California Public Utilities Commission. Well, the California Public Utilities Commission has something called supplier diversity benefits. Anytime the word diversity is in something now, that kind of, I raise an eyebrow. But so basically what you have to do, if you are a gay or transgender person who happens to own one of these privately owned utility companies, if you want if you want to be in on any of these supplier diversity benefits, well, you basically have to prove how gay you are. What does that entail? Well,
I was about to ask. I'm afraid of the answer, but yeah.
You can't just, have your friends tell people, yeah, he's or she is gay or transgender or whatever.
I mean, do you just show them your collection of Cher songs and Bette Midler music? I mean, what is it?
What does say Barry Manilow?
Yeah. It's like, I know. How gay are you? I love the birdcage. What qualifies?
There's several ways that you can do this. It's California. You got lots of options. So you can have a letter from a physician or therapist if you happen to be a transgender person that confirms your transgenderness.
So the dress in the 5 o'clock shadow wouldn't do that?
Apparently that's not enough.
Okay.
So you can also have some sort of evidence of discriminatory action if you've been discriminated against because you are gay and or transgender. And that action can be in the form of a human resources report, a police report, or court records. And the best part is if you don't have any of those, you can still, if you have any evidence, you and your significant other, who it must be a same-sex significant other, you can show evidence that you have, quote, completed or attempted parenting and family building efforts. And that can be in the form of in vitro fertilization efforts, a surrogate mother, adoption records, anything of that nature. And I included here a tweet from the original story, which was in the City Journal, and they actually have an entire checklist of things that you have to check off in order to be considered for this supplier diversity program benefits. It's
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think a guy could just walk in and go, "Look, I'm wearing capris. What more do you want?"
Exactly. Apparently it's not enough for Corporal Klinger to walk in and say, "Hey, can I get in on?" He was the trendsetter, but apparently that's not enough.
No, it's not. All right, RedState.com to follow Becky's and everybody else's work. Thanks so much, Becky. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thanks, Susie.
Thanks,
I mean,
Becky.
maybe they complained about the binary of the male and the female parts of the extension cord.
Maybe. Could very well be. Well, in other news, abortion providers get a free pass for almost everything after a judge's decision in Missouri. We've got the update on that in the news dump coming up.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Hanson's Tree Service at hansonstree.com is your one-stop shop for expert insured tree care and more in the greater St. Louis region and at the Lake of the Ozarks. Visit hansonstree.com for 24/7 emergency tree care, grinding and land clearing, awesome organic mulch, green resource recycling, and more. Tim Jones here to tell you that whether you're dealing with old man winter at your home or business in the St. Louis region or preparing your lake home for spring, call Hanson's to help you out. No job too big or too small. Mention News Talk STL. Receive 10% off all tree care services. hansonstree.com, hansonstree.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore for Window World. Did you know that in just over the last 20 years, Window World of St. Louis has improved the look and thermal efficiency for over 80,000 customers in St. Louis? Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS. They're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
The Mike Ferguson Show is one of my favorite programs. In addition to Larry Connor's USA, catch my program at 6. Now, back to Mike.
6 or 7 on the Susie dance scale there.
What's it going to take to see what a 10 looks like?
I don't know.
We'll know it.
It's just organic.
We'll know it. We'll know it when we see it.
It's
Exactly.
true.
I got to tell you, what actually of the 80s, Janet Jackson actually has one of my favorite songs from the 80s when she went full-on rock for one song, which was Black Cat.
Yeah.
Awesome song. Actually, I like
Janet.
I like Janet Jackson. You know,
It's not the like.
I'm not a poppy, dancey music kind of person, but if I had to listen to like that, I'd pick Janet Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah, she was cool. All right, we've got a news dump here in just a second, but Susie's like, you got to hear what just happened.
Yeah.
So Susie has this ongoing love-hate relationship with her ChatGPT. I'm trying to get her to name it, but she won't do that.
Nope.
But what happened? Because I don't know what the story is, but you were like, you got to hear this.
You got to hear this. Really try to make this very quick. So I went to retrieve my old car from my daughter because she's got a new car now, so I've got to bring mine home. It's old. It has a lot wrong with it. On the way home, several of the warning lights came on.
Yeah.
I knew I could get home, but before I take it in to get it looked at, I was like, hey, I'll just show a picture of the warning lights to ChatGPT, say, hey, it's a 2017 Rogue. What do you think this is? And so we had a little exchange. And one of the things it was remarking on was the fact that there's like 220,000 miles on this car, which they said, you've gotten good use out of the car. And I mentioned that my daughter is a farm girl and she's hard on cars. I said, she's a farm girl and hard on cars. So in the process of it, this was Chat's response. I had to laugh at this.
Wait a minute. ChatGPT said that?
Oh, that's not even it. Wait till I tell you the next thing it says. I had to laugh at this. I grew up around enough rural folks to know that hard on cars can mean anything from occasionally forgets an oil change to uses a compact SUV as if it were a side-by-side. Smiley face.
Wow. That's creepy AF.
I grew up Your artificial intelligence. You grew up.
Wow.
I've been trying to tell you, it's not artificial intelligence. They're paying people to work at these centers and pretend to be robots.
Yeah. So here's the best part about it, and I won't go into this, but I took it to Google AI and said, what would an AI say I grew up around? And it had the whole explanation for me.
What was what's the cliff
Basically,
notes?
It's programmed to become conversational and to mirror your conversational tone. So my chats back to me kind of like my alter ego at this point. It does.
Oh, okay, forget the new stuff. All right, hold on here. Okay.
Yeah.
This explains why there are AI programs of people like, I don't have a friend, I want a friend. And so they're creating this sort of thing.
Completely.
And somebody was trying to come up with apps like the AI can be your therapist and counselor and sort of stuff.
I guarantee you there's millions of people using it like this.
There are like AI boyfriends and girlfriends out there now.
Yes.
When you hear the stories about people that either start dating an AI, or in cases where people have been convinced by AI to kill themselves, it's because you are conditioning it, and it's learning how to interact with you on your own terms.
So it's mirroring back to you what you're telling it.
And that you can develop parasocial relationships like that.
100%, which I'm fully aware of. So that's why as soon as I saw that, I'm like flagging it.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate there's so much about this that I do appreciate, the technology and the availability of it. It's helpful. The diagnosis of the car situation was actually very helpful. But it's when I grew up. First of all, I had to laugh.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Did you? Did you really laugh?
Wow.
And did you grow up around rural folks? Really? But then it makes the joke too.
Which actually was a joke that somebody would make.
It's got good jokes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take credit for that since it is mirroring me. Just saying. Yeah, I'm sorry to ruin the news dump, but when I saw that, I'm like, you guys need to know about this.
Okay, and actually in just a little bit here, there's another like AI data type of story that I want to. They track this for a variety of reasons. And again, on social media, ChatGPT, we think those are the products. No, those are the venue. We are the products.
Yes.
There was a very intricate and wide-scale study that showed that your algorithm can figure out what you're thinking or how you're feeling. It knows more about you than when they compared it to people that had been in your life, close friends for 10 or more years, including relatives and spouses.
Oh, yeah. I haven't even scratched the surface with what this reflects back to me. Like, this thing, knows everything.
And Susie will tell it off.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will keep it in line. Like, when it's giving me bad information or it's, misconstruing something, I'm like, no.
And the weird part is like, there are so many people when you're a nice person, you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. And there are people like, well, I don't want to be too mean. It's not a real thing. It's not sentient. It doesn't have feelings.
Yeah. I still find myself saying please and thank you and sorry. Like you develop a conversational tone with it. It's a useful tool, but you got to remember what you're dealing with.
You have to keep in line who's the boss and who's the worker.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, that's nuts.
I knew you would want to hear
That's
that.
nuts.
I knew you would want to hear that.
Oh my gosh.
AI rights 2029.
Wow. Man.
Dr. Michael Lewis, West Point grad, physician, and retired Army colonel, is considered the world's leading expert on the use of omega-3s in brain health. He's also the author of When Brains Collide. Dr. Lewis, a lot of people take fish oil supplements, but how do you know they're working if you're not testing?
Elizabeth, I've come across the biggest breakthrough in my 30-plus years of medicine. What if you could test yourself at home to see if your fish oil supplements are actually working? And then have the right product, a combination of fish oil and olive oil, a perfect Mediterranean diet in a bottle delivered right to your doorstep. This is the answer to the American ultra-processed food diet. Email me at test@brainhealtheducation.org. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
Email Dr. Lewis today at test@brainhealtheducation.org and take the first step toward a healthier brain. Your future self will thank you. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, your financial friend with Serenity Wealth Management. Tune in this Sunday for the Serenity Wealth Now show. Father's Day show, we are joined by Caroline and Micah of the Men's Modern General Store in my hometown of Cotterville. We're actually going to be on site this Father's Day, so tune in right here on Newstalk STL, 9 a.m., the Serenity Wealth Now show. We'll see you then.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper, Sunday mornings at 9 on Newstalk STL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Logistical issues given as the reason that Vice President Vance is putting off his trip to Switzerland to lead negotiations with Iran over its nuclear program. Vance had been scheduled to leave today.
The announcement followed a report by a pan-Arab satellite channel that is politically allied with the Iranian-backed Lebanese terrorist group Hezbollah that Iran was delaying sending its delegation to Switzerland over Israel's ongoing military campaign in Lebanon. Earlier, Vice President Vance defended the deal, saying Iran must comply with U.S. demands if it wants concessions, saying as they dial up their good behavior, we can dial up economic relief. He continued, if they dial down their good behavior, we can turn it off. Ken Lorman reports.
Israel's military struck targets in southern and eastern Lebanon overnight. Hezbollah reports intense fighting. Lebanon's health ministry says at least 21 people have been killed. Israel says 4 of its soldiers were killed. The remains of Tropical Storm Arthur wreaking havoc on the Gulf Coast. Heavy rain sparking flash flood and tornado warnings. National Weather Service forecaster David Roth says the waterlogged region can expect even more rain in the immediate future.
Heavy rain just continues even in its wake for portions of Mississippi and Alabama for at least 3 more days.
Reports of trees and power lines down, buildings damaged or destroyed. The American military continues striking alleged drug-running boats in the eastern Pacific. Another vessel has been hit. At least 3 alleged narco-terrorists on board were killed. At least 211 people have died since the drug-fighting operation was launched some 9 months ago. Wall Street is closed today. The market's closed in observance of the federal Juneteenth federal holiday. Townhall.com.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives. And MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a beautiful Friday. Temperatures into the lower 80s, mostly sunny skies. Dew points into the 50s, so not much humidity. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 85 degrees. Into Sunday, we've issued a first alert weather day, as we're going to be seeing the potential for some showers and storms, some of which could become strong to severe. We'll be tracking 2 rounds, one during the morning round and during the secondary round. We're going to be looking towards the afternoon, evening hours. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hi, Sandy. What's that?
I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot.
What's 4?
Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Republican lawmakers have mixed reviews on President Trump's Iran deal. We'll ask Congressman Bob Onder his concerns at 4:20.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
Susie Moore.
Do you think he's ready?
He's not ready.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is your cousin Bob.
Happy Juneteenth.
Oh, that is today, isn't it?
Yeah, and here's the thing is there's a lot of like the hot takes on the so-called conservative social media spheres and the media. They're like are going to be, frankly, really mad that anybody in conservative media would say Happy Juneteenth.
How dare you?
Yeah, basically, precisely, because it's like that's just a woke thing. We don't need any race-based stuff, and they'll conflate it with other things, you know, like Kwanzaa or whatever the case is. But we had this co-host on this show for years, maybe the most conservative person who's ever been on the show.
Brilliant guy, smart guy, one of the greatest.
And he would make the argument every year at this time that says, wait a minute, this should be looked at as a Republican holiday.
Oh.
That guy's name is Gabe Pfifer, who's with us right now.
Yay.
Back on the old stomping grounds. Hey, Gabe.
Hey, good to talk with you, Mike. Oh, man, I miss you guys. I wanted to be in studio today, but just couldn't make it.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you know, you're like, I don't want to go to that neighborhood. Just say it. No,
I know who lives there.
That's right. Okay, so Gabe, because I texted you when I saw that today's going to be Juneteenth, and one, there is the pushback, including from you on some of the other virtue signaling days out there. But this one right here, not all virtues are bad to signal here. And you've argued in the past saying, wait a minute, conservatives ought to be leaning into this like crazy. Explain why this one's different. Why is Juneteenth different than, say, you know, Black History Month or Kwanzaa or some of the others that, you know, some people really object to?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about Juneteenth is that it's first of all, it is based on an actual historical thing as opposed to Kwanzaa, which is some made up woke bullcrap from some dude who killed his mistress or something in the 70s. But in this case, we're talking about a historical event, and that historical event is related to essentially the greatest victory in Republican history. The Republican Party was founded on the idea of being anti-slavery, of being an abolitionist party in America. We elected a guy called Abraham Lincoln, and he managed to do what many previous generations of freedom-loving politicians had never managed to do, is that actually abolish slavery. Now, of course, it took a war, it took a lot of death and destruction to get there, but we managed to do it. Juneteenth is when basically the last holdout areas, basically being controlled by Democrats, you know, had a Republican-led military show up and say, hey, no, we actually meant it. You have to release your slaves. And those slaves were released. The Republican Party met the goal that it was founded to do, and that should be celebrated. I don't understand why there's so much, weeping and gnashing of teeth about this being celebrated.
Yeah, and the weeping and the gnashing of the teeth is, frankly, on our side. It's on the right side. Right as in the political right side that does this, and it's almost a knee-jerk reaction to anything that has a racial overtone because we just assume that if race is the focus, that the left just owns it.
Right, and I think that's kind of where we fall into the trap that they've set for us for ages now. Is essentially they've said that they own they or in terms of the slavery issue. They've convinced many minority groups that if they want freedom in America, they are the party that provides it. And they not only have managed to trick those minorities, but they've managed to trick us on our side here into speaking about those issues as though they belong to the Democrats and not to us. And that's kind of a problem in the whole marketing of the party. I mean, this Juneteenth discussion has always struck me very emblematic of the problem that the Republican Party has in branding. Somehow the Democrats convinced black folks in the 60s or so that they are their party. In spite of all, they managed to get rid of the stigma of founding the KKK and transfer it to the Republicans. They managed to do that from a historical standpoint, and for some reason we're still flailing in trying to right that historical wrong. So why would we throw away this great opportunity? Sometimes they give us these opportunities and we just don't take them.
All right, this is where I normally say, okay, we're visiting with, but you know the voice, that's Gabe Pfifer.
You know me.
On the show for years here. Okay, so Gabe, then what's the right way for conservatives, whether you're a member of the Republican Party or you're just conservative part of the freedom movement, what's the right way to use Juneteenth? And I'm not even talking for political gain, but just to say, hey, here's something that we take from this, because at one point, holidays were actually about reflecting on something instead of just selling mattresses or 2-for-1 deals at the florist or whatever it is that you do now. So there's the question is, how should we look at it? And you're saying, no, this is actually a real serious thing. Let's look at it and celebrate it. What's the way that those on the right should use Juneteenth to kind of, I guess, have an impact with the purpose that it was set up for? Because I personally don't have a problem with Juneteenth being added to the holidays. Now, we have a lot of national holidays, but if we're going to do one, this is the one to do it, I would think.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one thing, the various conservatives and Republicans on the ground need to remember is, yes, you are allowed to make fun of the silliness that the left puts out on this, but don't let the record stay unchallenged. The record on race is in the Republican conservative favor, and just say something about it. It's like, yeah, happy Juneteenth, when the Republican Party met its goal of abolishing slavery nationwide. It was one sentence, and you blow up the entire narrative that the left wants to build around this thing. Just correct the record, and it's going to take a long time for it to reach a saturation in the culture that, yes, the Republicans are the ones who actually abolished slavery, and it wasn't the other way around. And no, there wasn't a party switch. Don't be a silly, stupid so-and-so. But I'm being careful.
Thank you.
But yeah, just correct the record. It starts in little things. Just the people around you need to realize that maybe there's something wrong about the narrative that they've been sold.
Okay, so did we just go woke on a conservative show?
No. I mean, we're awake. I hope so. That's what the coffee in front of me is telling me.
And then listen to it. Listen to that more than to Chat GPT, in case you just missed it.
Yes, exactly. Be careful, Susie.
That's right. So we're visiting with Gabe Pfifer here. And so, I mean, with Juneteenth, I'm not a huge holiday guy overall, as you know, but it kind of drives me nuts when we want to politicize everything. And in this case right here, you actually have something that could be a socially cohesive thing. It could be a unifying thing, but we just can't get the politics out of the way. And in this case, frankly, it's the right, political right side. It's our side that tends to trip over it.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those. It's the symptom of the liberal dominance of national narratives, I think, because what has happened is that conservatives have been kind of cowed by their dominance of the various messages in culture for so long that whenever they say something, whenever they come up with a new idea, whenever they want to push some new narrative or what have you, we have a knee-jerk reaction. Now, in some instances, it's basically a beaten dog syndrome. If you raise your hand at a beaten dog, even if it's to pet their head, they're going to flinch at it. So that's kind of where we are right now politically. The conservatives are flinching every time the left raises their hands. But we have to be able to be sober-minded about these things and recognize the opportunities when they come. Juneteenth was a great opportunity to get a steal, basically a cultural steal from the left. And we fumbled that so badly.
Yeah, and I guess it starts with when you see something that says Happy Juneteenth or celebrates it, let's start with not rolling your eyes at it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, yeah, celebrate the Juneteenth. Now, look, when they start selling watermelon flavored ice cream
that
at
happened.
Walmart,
Yeah.
yeah, that you're allowed to roll your eyes at that.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? Why is this racist garbage at my local store here? Yes. So, okay. Those are the opportunities you have to roll your eyes, and actually, that I would consider those cultural wins if you roll your eyes at that garbage. But if somebody says, "Hey, Happy Juneteenth," as though they're trying to mock you, yes, accept it. It's an American holiday. Wave your flag. Tell them, yes, the Republicans won. That was awesome.
All right, Gabe Pfifer. And again, I'm still going to roll my eyes and mock things like Kwanzaa and stuff like that. But
oh gosh, yes, please do.
Yeah, this is one where it's like you don't have to lump them all in together. It's just good. All right, Gabe. Hope you're doing well. We do miss you here. I appreciate you being back on today, and happy Father's Day this weekend coming up as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You too. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
God bless.
Thanks, Gabe.
Bye, Gabe.
All right, we've got not only the NewsTalkSTL birthday coming up. Next weekend, you know what else we have coming up? We have Nutrition Stops, 40th anniversary, 40th birthday party.
Wow.
Not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday. And that's going to be at Nutrition Stop there off Mexico Road in St. Peter's. I'm going to be there at least from 12 to 2, maybe from 12 to 3. But they're having a barbecue, a bunch of free food and samples, a lot of fun. It's just going to be a great time. It's free. Come on out. Put it on your calendar. Between noon and 3 at Nutrition Stop on Saturday, I guess that'd be the 27th, I guess that would be. So if you can hang out with us on Friday night at Cottleville, Saturday come out and say hi to me at Nutrition Stop. All the details are up at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Mike Ferguson in the morning
I have to tell my kids that I'm a rock star now.
on News Talk STL.
You want to take the place of what I trust.
JC's Wayback Machine.
It's Father's Day weekend, so we'll have lots of songs about dear old dad.
I married your mother because I wanted children. Imagine my disappointment when you arrived.
We'll also bring in the first day of summer, and our A-list interview of the week is with Dana Carvey.
So I walk into the Oval Office, blown away. I see Bush, and I go, Mr. President. And then I saw Quayle, and without thinking, I went, Dan!
All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9 on News Talk STL.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint, formulated to outsmart the elements. Rain or shine, sleet or snow, mold or mildew. Our home exterior coatings intelligently designed to stand up to Mother Nature. Call 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Staff's Pizza, you know the name. They're famous for their St. Louis style pizza, but don't forget their party platters for any occasion. Step sandwiches, pasta, and pizza are always a big hit at any get-together, and the party platters make it easy. 4 great locations: St. Peter's on Juggerman, in St. Charles on Zumbell, Pond Ford Trail in Lake St. Louis, and the original Stefanitas in O'Fallon. Check them out at steffspizza.com. And remember, tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
And then the media.
1019 and 94.1.
They lying about what's going on in America. They lying about it.
News Talk STL. The 80s. Never been a decade like it, never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Little Ozzy.
Oh, yeah.
Little Ozzy here.
It's a little Ozzy.
We have gone from Willie Nelson to Ozzy Osbourne today on Flashback Friday. I love it.
I haven't heard this one before. This is really good. Center of Eternity.
Yeah. By the way, we got a phone call a little bit ago from our buddy Andre.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make a correction to the conversation we're having with Becky Noble from RedState a little bit ago. It's actually some of the things that Becky said. He's basically saying, yep, it's true, but it's actually a little worse than that.
Yeah, so the complaint that he had, or the correction that he wanted,
yeah,
the correction that he wanted to make was that we referenced the trucking weight limit as 18,000 pounds.
Right.
It's actually for a standard truck 80,000 pounds, with oversized trucks being 120,000 pounds.
So it's even more dangerous than even what we were mentioning a little bit earlier.
That's a very important correction to make.
Andre, appreciate it. Thumbs up, dude. Appreciate that. Okay, let's follow up on this AI thing that Susie was talking about, because it's been brought up. I said it today. I think you've said it in the past. Is that we tend to think that the Chat GPT or the AI program or the social media is the product that we're using. Other people will say, well, no, the product that's being sold is the advertising on there. No, we're the product.
Yes.
We're being sold to the advertisers. It's not being sold the other way around. We're the product. And on a trade website called Ad Exchanger, which is basically tracking the marketing industry, they were pointing out that Papa John's Pizza is using AI and using the algorithm and using all of this data that's being collected on all of us in a particular way that just shows you how detailed and how creepy this gets. Now, I'm not faulting Papa John's. They're just trying to sell their pizzas. But get this. According to this trade media thing, Papa John's is now partnering with NBC Universal and with Instacart in order to collect data. So they're buying or they're trading or they're bartering data on all of us to find out when we are most likely to be low or out of groceries. To track, like, basically, okay, when do you go grocery shopping? Like, do you have a particular day you tend to go grocery shopping?
Now that I think of it, not
or
really.
Just kind of like as whenever. Yeah, but it's looking for signs in your activity online that would indicate when you're most likely to go, you know what, just order a pizza. We don't have anything here.
So this is actually not even close to the creepiest thing that I've heard.
But it's one of those things that's like, so here's what it comes down to. So they're partnering with Instacart and NBC Universal, and what they're doing is Instacart would turn over the information that would say when people usually order a restock of their groceries. So if you have a pattern of, like, you know what, Thursday or Friday or Saturday, or you know what, I always do the Instacart groceries on Sunday afternoon, whatever the case is, then they would sell that information to Papa John's, who would put ads targeted to that on your streaming TV. So you're streaming whatever channel on there. You'd get an ad, maybe a QR code right to their app that they're doing this already. It's a campaign that would basically say, hey, you light on groceries? Your fridge empty? Here's a QR code. Order yourself a Papa John's pizza. Yep. Because they're doing it on data, and it's not going to everybody. It's going to those that the algorithm says they're 24 hours or they're 48 hours from ordering their next set of groceries. They're more likely to buy a pizza right now. And so it's taking a calculation as to when you would be more likely to just buy the pizza. Now, is that just smart marketing in the world of this technology, or is that just another example of, good God, this is getting creepy?
Yes. I mean, this relates to a somewhat infamous case from a few years ago from Target, of all places, based on the browsing habits. And this was right, I think, at the beginning of when AI was really becoming a thing. So this was basically using the old technology, the generic, metadata crawlers that they were using.
Yeah.
A father was getting a lot of targeted ads because he shared an account for Target with his daughter, was getting a lot of targeted ads for, like, baby supplies and things for your first trimesters.
Wow.
He issued a complaint with the company saying, why are you showing me all this stuff? And was really mad about it. And that's when he found out that his daughter was hiding a pregnancy from him.
Whoa.
And that, so her browsing habits online influenced that algorithm enough where they said this person's more likely than not to need some diapers, to need some trimester clothing, to need a crib, and the father was seeing all that. That is how the level of complexity that was. Now you have AI that's even more faster processing speeds.
Oh, immediate, instant, immediate.
Yes, it is insane how quick this stuff works. And for me personally, just because I'm a very much constitutional kind of guy, if our government was doing this to us, if this would be a clear Fourth and Fifth Amendment violation.
Okay, so it's interesting you bring that up because the government is also buying the data and then saying, we didn't collect it, we just bought it, we're not the ones violating your rights.
Exactly, and that's
their claim at least.
Yeah, and that's what the whole issue with the idea of corporatism is when the government and when companies are basically hand in hand. We're not violating your rights. This is not illegal, but it's something that you'd never be okay with.
That was like the Biden administration going to banks and financial institutions saying, somebody starts spending money in these areas, guns or whatever, we order you to flag that, or we want you to flag that, and we'll either buy or we'll just ask for that information to be turned over. And then when somebody goes, hey, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, like, no, we're not doing it. The private sector is doing that. If we can work out a deal with that, that's secondary, not... Well, it is using the government weight of the government to do that, but that's what they're hiding behind.
And and there's still some guardrails that the government has to abide by, at least publicly. There's some certain guardrails in place that makes it less intrusive than it could be. But when it's a company that is doing this to you and it's spying on you, so it could show you, because advertisements are essentially propaganda for the company. That's really all.
Well, and propaganda in and of itself is not a bad thing. There's good and bad propaganda. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I do propaganda for this show all the time.
But it's information that's meant to invoke a idea or to get to convince you of something, and that's essentially what advertising is. So the fact that people have been made aware of this for so long, and it has not caused us to change our consumer behaviors, to change how much data we're willing to submit, to get more legislation to say, look, like you can look at my Facebook and what I publicly post, but don't be watching everything I'm doing behind the scenes.
And,
it's just
and Susie was just talking about the ChatGPT and the AI programs trying to become your companion and have you interact with it and think of it as another sentient thing, as another being. And that's one creepy. I mean, her interactions with it were kind of funny, but it's creepy and it can be dangerous.
And at the same time, there are some people I know personally, but there are people that view this as, wow, it's the future. Look at how incredible it is. And there is something to be said about you can dislike the technology or the tool available, but also recognize that it's smarter to sometimes use and embrace those technologies. So I do know people where they would hear something like this and say, wow, I already am going to be watching whatever show with my friends. And sometimes we have trouble figuring out. So it'd be nice to get a free coupon for pizza and end the debate on what we're going to,
And the thing is, I'm not even faulting Papa John's for this. I mean, that seems like really smart, sophisticated marketing. Yes. It just shows you how targeted that they could send an ad to your TV and not to my TV, because my algorithms say that I do this on Tuesday, you do this on Friday, and they can target people with that pinpoint precision on anything.
And chances are it's going to be more successful than unsuccessful.
Oh, totally.
So that's kind of where I don't want to sound like a technophobe. There are some very many concerns of that are the genie's already out of the bottle on a lot of them. So there's not really a point. But I think something like this, I think it should be an opt-in type thing. I don't think it should be a by default, we're going to do this, that you have to go figure out how to opt out of it if you even can. I think it should be something where if this is something you like, opt into it, but I don't want my data being...
When you click on the I agree terms of service, that's what you're doing is I agree to have my information sold, basically.
And they put it like 2/3 of the pages down so you don't immediately watch it,
And here's the thing is when I worked at a think tank, a free market think tank, conservative think tank, we used data as well. We bought it as well. We did a thing where we would do geofencing and we would take a snapshot around the Missouri Capitol. Everybody who was on the Capitol grounds now got our social media feed with our links, with our things on it. And so we used it as well. And, if you're not using it, you're losing out. Whether, it is. So we know that, selling pizzas is pretty benign, but you also get targeted for a lot of other stuff. Have you ever I haven't heard that song in a while, or I wonder what this is, and start to look something up and go, oh, it's going to mess up my algorithms.
Yes.
I've actually done that. I'm like, ooh, I don't want that to start sending me garbage.
I have multiple browsers and multiple accounts that I use, so that way I specifically can keep my algorithms in line. That's also how I do like a baseline check between how things are changing, what's being targeted to me.
Right.
It's very interesting using YouTube without having an account signed in because of the nature of the work that we do. The advertisements how old it thinks I am, what it thinks I need. It's completely wrong, but it's just interesting that that's the generic default, and these are things that would make sense that I would imagine that there are people that would use. And there's not really a good way of unless you don't use it, then there's really not a way of the service or the product. There's not a good way of determining how much of your information you even still have access or control over in this modern world.
Oh, we've handed it over. We've handed over. Just keep in mind, we're the product, so try to manage it the best you can, but it's so overwhelming. That's right.
The best way of doing that is to celebrate, and we have a reason for you to celebrate. That would be our 5th birthday coming up here on June 26th at Martin's Garden. We're going to be featuring the one and only Retro Nerds, a fantastic 80s themed tribute band. A lot of fun to be around. It's an all-ages event. It is free unless you run into me. I will be.
Don't give him money.
I'll be terrifying everybody.
Don't give him money. He'll say you got to pay, but don't.
Okay. Then it'll be a truly free event. Just come out, hang out with us, look for the NewsTalkSTL Pavilion outside on the outside stage, and just come and say hi. You don't have to hang out with us. You don't have to look at us very long if you don't want to, but it's always good. But it's always a good time when you get a chance to hang out with the Retro Nerds and enjoy a good atmosphere. So it's June 26th, 7 p.m. at Martin's Garden.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a beautiful Friday. Temperatures into the lower 80s, mostly sunny skies. Dew points into the 50s, so not much humidity. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 85 degrees. Into Sunday, we've issued a first alert weather day, as we're going to be seeing the potential for some showers and storms, some of which could become strong to severe. We'll be tracking 2 rounds, one during the morning round, and during the secondary round, we're going to be looking towards the afternoon, evening hours. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scott.
Fox News commentary with Jesse Waters. Next.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's Jesse Waters.
Iran's nuke program is over. Forever. The mullahs have agreed, at the very least, that their enriched uranium stockpiles will be destroyed on site, and that the International Atomic Energy Agency, which means us, will supervise. Since Iran can't dig it out, we'd be the ones doing it. They only get sanctions relief after the dust is destroyed. And if Iran backs out, they've still agreed that they'll maintain the current status quo of their nuclear program. And the status quo is they have no nuke program. The uranium's buried, the centrifuges shattered, and their scientists are all dead. So status quo is still bueno. Even then, Iran agreed to this, quote, "We shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons." And if Iran so much as comes near the sites, it'll be trouble.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
Are you struggling with life's pressures? The Flot Line has answers. Join host Rick Hughes for biblical principles and learn how to build a spiritual flot line in your soul. Discover God's plan for your life. Sunday mornings at 9:30 on News Talk STL.
There's something magical about walking into your backyard and knowing your family is completely safe and secure. Hi, I'm Sean Long, owner of STL Fence Works. That's the feeling my team and I have been creating for metro area families for more than 50 years. Whether you're adding your first fence or finally creating the outdoor sanctuary you've always wanted, we offer premium vinyl and stunning ornamental options, all designed around your family's specific needs and lifestyle. While other companies struggle with supply delays and rising costs, we've always proudly used all American-made materials, which means better pricing and faster installation for you. Our experienced craftsmen exemplify our motto, your satisfaction is our passion. From Warrenton to Wildwood, your neighbors trust us because we live here too, and we care about your project as much as you do. Right now is the golden time to build with flexible financing options and a commitment to completing your fence on time and on budget. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
News, analysis, opinion.
Kuwait coming under attack from Iranian missiles.
The negotiation itself has gone very well.
Our demands here are pretty simple. Don't make nuclear bombs.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
Yeah, the computer's messing up there. Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue.
Well, I apologize. That one was actually a very special request.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it can't control technology.
No,
It's mad that we were talking bad about AI, I guess.
Soros, the gremlin did it.
It was Motley Crue, Home Sweet Home, and that was in remembrance of the time where one of our listeners was coming back from the Marines and was finally able to see their family again.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So
So maybe on the bump music on the way out that'll smooth out a little bit. Yeah, but that was that song was special to a lot of people, even though it's like the hair metal thing. Yeah. All right, 8:36 right now. This past week, this was expected. I mean, it's a tragic ruling from a court in Missouri, but it's not a surprising ruling. So most, not all, but most of the basic common sense health standards and safeguards for women has been struck down if there's anything to do with abortion. We're joined now by Steve Rupp from Missouri Right to Life, president of Missouri Right to Life. Steve, thanks so much for checking in with us here. I think you got a couple days off here. I really appreciate you taking a few minutes here. I can't say I'm surprised by this ruling, even though this is a leftist, pretty well-known leftist judge. When you look at what's in the state constitution right now, she's not necessarily wrong in her ruling. That's not a reflection necessarily on the ruling as much as it is a reflection on how horrific our state constitution is when it comes to abortion at the moment.
Yeah, when you think about this, Mike, and by the way, thank you for having me on. I greatly appreciate it, and thanks for all that you do for life too. That we greatly appreciate that. But yeah, she has ruled against the life on other occasions, so we kind of saw this coming and hoped and prayed that it wouldn't come, but it is here. And Catherine Hanaway, our Attorney General, Missouri Attorney General, said that she's opened the Pandora's box that we warned of previously, and that Missouri women will pay the price. And because this gives abortionists what she called a free pass to police themselves, which is true. That's what this does. So that means that the abortion industry doesn't have to file complication plans. They don't have to have basic health and safety standards that include inspections. We had passed a law to have the abortion facilities inspected on a regular basis, and they balked at that, and they said that they don't need those safety inspections. Well, what they found when we went in there was that they had like chairs that had dried blood on them. They had equipment that they were using that was not sterilized. Does that sound like basic women's health to you? That sounds like they don't care about women. They care about cost. They care about money. This is about money and ideology, really. And it's not about the health care for women, because it also expands late-term abortions, so that what they called, and this is a made-up term, fetal viability of abortions now will be available after what is called fetal viability, literally up to the moment of birth. And that's not what people voted for. They were lied to, and we told them that they were being lied to, but people didn't know. They just didn't know. So these basic health and safety standards now are gone, and they get to police themselves, and they're going to police themselves by saying, how can we make the most money that we can possibly make? And that's by cutting corners. And cutting corners, because cutting corners, it saves them money. They don't have to have hallways that if a woman is hurting from an abortion and potentially dying from an abortion and an ambulance is called, which has happened dozens and dozens of times at the Planned Parenthood in St. Louis, that the gurney from the ambulance can't even make it down the hallways there. Because they said that we're not a surgical center. We don't have to have hallways that can accommodate that. And they are a surgical center. They're lying to people. And this is not about women's health. This is about saving money.
Yeah, let me also follow up on the inspections thing and some of the other safeguards that were in there. They were basically acting like you're picking on us because you don't like abortion. But these are the standards in basically every other thing that has anything to do with medical stuff. These were literally standards that apply everywhere else. And they have a carve out for this because of what was passed in the state constitution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man, we're visiting with Steve Rupp.
Does that sound like women's health to you?
No, not in the least bit. We're visiting with Steve Rupp from Missouri Right to Life. Now, one of the biggest points of this ruling is Planned Parenthood's just giddy about this right now. They say starting next week, as early as next week, maybe even before that if they could, they want to start giving out the chemical abortion pill because this ruling also struck down something that said if you're going to do the chemical abortion pill, you need to do it with a doctor right there just in case. Because there's such a high percentage of complications with this. So now that part is out. So essentially, are we going to be looking at the abortion pill going through the mail or just handed out like candy at Planned Parenthood and other clinics like that?
You know what? We aren't sure yet, but it does open the door for the abortion pills. There's no question about that. And what we're going to. This is so early, and we're just going through the ruling itself to find out exactly what it says, exactly what it can do, exactly what it can't do. And it looks like it opens up, as Catherine Hanaway said, the Pandora's box of the gloves are off. They can do anything they want to do, and doing that, allowing that abortion pill to be given to women just like candy without a doctor's approval or without a prescription, without anything really, that this opens the door to abusers, people that are we see story after story after story now of boyfriends and even fathers that are getting the abortion pill to give to women that are pregnant and giving it to them without their knowledge, literally without their knowledge. And women go into convulsions, and there's unbelievable side effects of this, that women are taking these pills that don't know they're taking these pills to kill their children. And that opens the box, the Pandora's box to that. They're also open to sexual traffickers, people that are trafficking these young ladies, and they get pregnant. And the easy answer is, I just go get some pills out of the mail and give them to this woman and get her back out on the street so I can continue to make money. This is unbelievable. It's horrific.
Now, one of the articles I read on this was from the Missouri Independent, which obviously is very left leaning. Follow them on Blue Sky if you want. But they're making the claim that the judge upheld a law that says only physicians can do abortions, but that's not how I read the state constitution. Is that the way that it's written is that you don't actually have to be a physician to go. Basically, anybody can go do an abortion if you just say, you're providing abortion care. So there's some confusion as to that rule, or at least from that article.
That's what we're trying to find out as well. We're trying to find out all the nuances of this ruling, as to whether that allows the pill to be given to women by somebody other than a physician, and providing surgical abortions from somebody other than a physician as well. Because the way that we read it, anybody could perform an abortion. It does not have to. If it's not a physician, and it could be a medical professional. What is a medical professional? Is that the secretary at Planned Parenthood? Who's a medical professional? So we're trying to figure that out as well.
All right, we're visiting with Steve Rupp from Missouri Right to Life. Couple minutes left here, Steve. So this obviously then translates into how crucial the pro-life Amendment 3 is in November. And before we can reach out to as many of those kind of in the middle, or the non-policy wonk, the non-political nerds, just the voters who live their lives out there, we need to make sure that everybody on our side is on board with this. I was having a conversation with one of our state lawmakers yesterday who was expressing some frustration that there are conservatives who are pushing back against Amendment 3, saying, well, it's just not perfect enough, but this is the best we can do right now, and it does a lot. We could save 90, 95, maybe more % of the babies out there. We can always go back for the rest later, but speak to the importance of everybody on the right, everybody who's pro-life, making sure that we are rallying in favor of this upcoming Amendment 3.
Yeah, on November 3rd, we have the ability to be able to repeal the current Amendment 3 that's in our state constitution, and that will save 99% of the children that are being aborted right now. 99%. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But we have the opportunity then to address the other 1%, because right now our legislators' hands are completely tied. They can do nothing to restrict abortions. If we pass Amendment 3, that gives the legislators the ability to be able to address that other 1%. And so the people that are saying, well, this isn't perfect. Well, no, it's not perfect. But there's never been anybody that ran for office that was perfect either. And so we can't let perfect be the enemy of good. And this is a very good bill. It bans 99% of abortions. And again, it gives us the opportunity to address the other 1%. We must pass Amendment 3. And it'll also stop hopefully the abortion pill. And we can address the abortion pill by mail as well, that we can't do that now. And so it's vital that we pass Amendment 3 on November 3rd.
Yeah, because right now there's going to be an appeal filed. The Attorney General has already said she's going to do that if she hasn't already.
Yes.
That's going to go through an appellate court. Yes. Eventually it's going to go to the Missouri Supreme Court. But none of this is going to be settled before November, so we can make it all a moot point and just reclaim the state and who and what we are if we pass the Amendment 3 ballot proposal out there. So you've got a tremendous amount of information on this on your website, on your social media. Steve, let's give out that contact information. But we need to do just call to action, because this is one of those where even if you're just nominally pro-life, our state constitution is worse than Illinois' right now. It's so radical that even those who are kind of in the middle is like, well, I don't like it, but listen, they should be able to get on board with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And our Amendment 3 will also ban minors from getting drugs, to cross-sex drugs, to literally castrate them. That's what those drugs are designed to do, is to castrate young people. And people say, well, that's not a life issue. Of course it's a life issue. We're all about giving life, giving the gift of life. And this prevents young people that don't have no idea what this is going to do for them or to them long term. And this also bans those drugs and surgeries on young children, which is again, that is barbaric.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, let's do the website and social media again real quick, Steve.
Yeah, it's MissouriLife.org. MissouriLife.org.
All right, Steve, really appreciate you checking in, because I know you're out of town right now. So thanks so much for the update. We will be talking again soon, believe me.
Keep up the great work, Mike. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, once again, MissouriLife.org. All right, got a lot of stuff coming up here, including Randy Tobler Show, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Sure, you guys are going to be recapping the whole situation in Iran, which, by the way, has changed even this morning, because the Strait of Hormuz is shut down again because some things went boom.
Oh, boy. I mean, we kind of expected that already. Yeah. But, we will have Patrice Mbuka from the Independent Women's Forum. She is the VP of the economics part of that group. So she's going to talk about what we should expect from what's going on with the Iran what was it? The memorandum of
understanding, and what you should expect is boom,
boom, understand.
And look over there, boom,
as well as whatever developments we find out about tonight, just in general. So you should join in, same time frame, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. That's the Dr. Randy Tobler Show here on News Talk STL.
You never know who you'll run into at Sugar Creek Golf Course. Stop by the News Talk VIP Lounge inside the Sugar Creek Clubhouse and catch familiar faces like Jamie Allman, Mike Ferguson, Tim Jones, Nick Schroer, and more from the News Talk STL team. Grab a cold drink, say hello, and take in the atmosphere. And before you leave, swing by the Pro Shop to pick up your official News Talk STL polo. The Sugar Creek Pro Shop is the only place you can get one. It's all happening at Sugar Creek, so don't miss it.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
It's not often you can make a real difference in the lives of kids. When you volunteer as an optimist, you'll be helping kids take a positive turn in their lives. As their role model, mentor, leader, and friend, you'll help young people develop positive attitudes and approaches to life that will enable them to excel in school and in our community. So if you care about kids, give yourself a present by volunteering today. Optimists, bringing out the best in kids.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Kind of a deep cut here.
Do you know it?
Give me a second here, because I know I've heard it. It's not Eric Johnson. It sounds kind of Iron Maiden-ish.
It's not Iron Maiden.
I don't know.
It's Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh, Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie
yes.
Malmsteen. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, because my neck, I was going to start going down the list of like the guitar virtuosos, and he probably would not have been my first guess, but he would have been in my top 3 or 4, yeah.
But now that you pointed out the Iron Maiden sound, if Joe Satriani did Iron Maiden,
yeah, that's what it would sound like.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right. Oh, that's kind of a deep cut. That's cool. All right. Yeah, Yngwie Malmsteen, man. He was like back when people were saying things like guitar virtuoso, Yngwie Malmsteen and Joe Satriani and Eddie Van Halen and a lot of those guys that would just go super fast, and hit all the notes, and it was a melodic guitar thing.
If electric guitars existed back in the day, I think Mozart would probably have sounded like that.
Yes, that's right. Well, there is a lot of similarities in the construction of a classical song and of like some of the heavy metal songs out there. Just when there actually are similarities, and a lot of people would scoff and laugh at that because one's classy and one's but no, actually the construction of the songs aren't. There are some similarities in there.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, 8:51 right now. All right, Missouri. Let's follow up on that conversation with Steve Rupp. One step closer to becoming an abortion free-for-all state. St. Louis police say they have stopped teen takeovers before they start for this weekend. And maybe the Cardinals had a little too much barbecue in Kansas City before that game last night. All right, 8:52. Let's wrap up the week with one more news dump.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by Lee May Concrete and Block. The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks, the Morning News Dump.
Very few safety regulations on abortion remain after a judge's ruling on Thursday. Now, citing the 2024 state constitutional amendment that narrowly passed by Missouri voters, a Jackson County judge struck down most regulations and safety standards on abortion. Among the effects of the ruling is that chemical abortions without doctor supervision will resume in Missouri for the first time since 2018. Planned Parenthood says they will resume providing those drugs next week. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says she is going to appeal. And we had a conversation with Steve Rupp from Missouri Right to Life a few minutes ago. That's going to be posted on our podcast a little bit later on this morning, probably pretty shortly.
Yeah, very shortly after the show.
Okay, St. Louis City Police say they have learned of a planned teen takeover of Forest Park this weekend, and they're getting out ahead of it to prevent any problems and prevent any dangers. KMOV's Corey Stark has the story with comments from Police Department spokesman Mitch McCoy.
Police say they are aware of social media posts calling for a takeover Saturday night at Forest Park. They say they'll have additional officers in the area of the park and will not tolerate unlawful or violent activity.
This is now the time for parents to be engaged, guardians to be engaged, and to start having those conversations with their kids on what they are doing. What we know right now is that these events appear to be getting organized on Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. Parents need to be very mindful. They need to be asking their kids, their teenagers, where are you going Saturday? What are your plans? Watch them like a hawk, right? Because we do know that kids will be kids.
Well, this takeover in Forest Park isn't the only one police know about. SLMPD says it is shifting officers' schedules this weekend to help prevent the takeovers before they can begin.
Okay, and in another similar situation, Mayor Kara Spencer announces a juvenile curfew for next weekend's Gay Pride festivities in the Grove area. Not just the Grove, but that whole part of town right there. 2 people were shot last year when a fight broke out in the early morning hours after those celebrations.
This is about avoiding a repeat of previous unfortunate events, not about making it harder to be a teenager in the city. Pride is obviously such a fun and important celebration for our community, and we don't want anyone to avoid joining in the festivities because they don't feel safe.
Yeah, because we got to put a little bit of virtue signaling in there, but nobody under 17 is going to be allowed to be in the area between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. next weekend without adult supervision with them. The bars in the Grove are going to be closing at midnight next Saturday and Sunday as well. The bottom line on this, Jerome, is parents be parents. Now, first of all, I don't know why a parent would want a minor out in the middle of the night at a Pride festivity at all. That's a whole other set of questions. But the bottom line from the takeovers to this thing is parents, parent your children. It's not the police's job to do that.
Yeah, I mean, don't be that person.
Yeah.
We have curfews for a reason, and we also need to do a better job of holding kids accountable and teaching them dumb actions have dumb consequences.
Right. Yeah. All right. Department of Homeland Security is reporting that one of the conspirators in the alleged plot to attack the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House, 31-year-old Abraham Alvarez, came to the U.S. as a child and then later received deportation relief through the DACA program. Yeah. DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen was on the Ingram Angle on Fox and saying incidents like this underscore the necessity of the mass deportation program.
When you don't respect our laws when you're coming in, how do we expect you to respect the laws when you're living here as well? And we have one person that dies at the hands of an illegal is one too many.
Alvarez is one of 5 suspects who have been arrested already and are in federal custody. Authorities actually say there's a total of 23 individuals involved in that broader conspiracy to send in drones with explosives in order to drive a mass exodus where they would then walk into snipers.
It's absolutely barbaric.
Yeah.
And there's no place in a civilized society for this kind of behavior, especially when it's sometimes being headed by people that are not supposed to be here to begin with.
Right. Yep, exactly. Because the DACA, what they would call the Dreamers, easy for them to get a lot of sympathy. And now we're going, well, wait a minute.
They don't
isn't illegal? Now, there are some people that not their fault that they were brought in when they were a baby, but you still, life dealt you a tough hand. You got to make it right.
Yeah.
The same. All right. A new customer satisfaction survey says there's a new #1 fast food chain.
Ooh.
Yeah. After 11 years, Chick-fil-A is no longer rated #1 for customer satisfaction. Somebody beat Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
Yeah. When it comes to all like fast food type places, do you have any guess as to who could have beaten Chick-fil-A?
Waffle House?
That is a good guess. That is not correct.
I'm stumped.
USA Today is reporting that Jersey Mike's now
Really?
holds that spot after the latest American Customer Satisfaction Index report. They scored 84 out of 100 possible points, just 1 point ahead of Chick-fil-A.
What's going on with Chick-fil-A? Because I don't know very much about their food, but I know that they're known for their great customer service.
So they are barely #2. They got barely knocked off there. Jimmy John's and Panda Express came in 3rd and 4th, respectively. Sierra Cardinals lost last night to the Royals 14-6.
Wow.
That's a lot of runs. All right. Tonight's game starts at 7:15. You are probably not going to watch it because only those with an Apple Plus subscription can watch the Cardinals game tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. Boop.